Well, hello everybody and welcome to the final round of the Motorsport UK British Karting Championship for the Honda and Rotax classes. You joined myself, Henry Beaudette and Anthony Jordan at Whilton Mill for what promises to be an exciting weekend racing at one of the UK's most physically demanding and undulating circuits out there. 1,200 metres of bumps, of curbs that will drag the drivers left, right and centre, but it's one of their favourite circuits on the calendar. A big thank you to everybody for joining us, and a thank you to the competitors. It's a little bit later than usual, Anthony Jordan. It's nearly Christmas, but what a present we've got to you. Forecast there, though, says it's cloudy with a slight chance of rain. That slight chance has turned into a large chance because the last 5 minutes, the rain has arrived, which means we have got a wet afternoon's racing set to hit the track shortly.
We have indeed, yeah, the rain came down with a vengeance not but 5 minutes ago. These drone shots were taken about a couple of hours ago before the rain hit, so it looks quite nice, quite picturesque, but yes, very late in the year, much later than what would usually be, so it's a lot colder, it's a lot windier, it's a lot wetter than what we'd have in one of those. But yeah, it's fantastic to be here though, to finally finish the season. But
the rain that is falling now is quite handy actually, because yesterday one of our drivers took us on a lap of the circuit, a very wet lap, which will be described right now by Anthony Jordan. Take it away.
Indeed, it was very wet and windy. We're on board with the 68 of Jez Williams for Vision Motorsport around a hot lap of Whilton Mill. We cross the line straight away in towards Oblivion. A very fast corner in the dry conditions. A little bit hazy, a little bit easy this time around though, as you go through Crook, up the hill now towards the heavy braking zone, the first major braking zone of Christmas Corner. You round here now, hooking that tyre on that inside curb to get the cart around. Then you switch it over to the left-hand side again, watching that oversteer on the exit as you go through Sector 2, through Inkermans. Now, Inkermans, very interesting corner. Again, you want to hook lots of curb on that one, get on the power nice and quick into the heavy braking zone of the hairpin of Ashby. Out of Ashby's, you then go in towards Wilkins and Oisiers. Now, these are two very fast left-handers, again, in the dry conditions. Want to be hooking those curves on the inside. Stay out wide, though, in towards Oisiers, because you want to get that optimum line out to get on that power nice and early for the back straight. Then you're heading towards Sector 3, the boot. Now, this is a very, very tricky part of the circuit. Very bumpy, very horrible if you get it wrong, but if you get it right, oh, it pays dividends. Now, as you exit through here again on the power nice and early, watch this inside curb. Now, some drivers, two different racing lines. It's massive. You want to avoid it, but that is a lap of Whilton Mill.
Brilliant stuff there. Thank you, Anthony, and thank you to Jez Williams, who we'll see a little bit later on in Junior Rotax. Here, though, is the timetable for today. Obviously, due to the lighting situation, a compressed timetable here, but we've still got plenty of action. Senior Rotax Heat 1 coming up very shortly, followed by the contenders in Minimax, in Junior Rotax, and then Cadet Honda with the 177s rounding out the first group of heat races. Now, the senior Rotax drivers, each driver will compete in 2 heat races, but they've been split into 3 groups, A, B and C, after qualifying, just because the amount of entries that there are. The second round of heats begins with senior Rotax A versus C, and then the Minimax, Junior Max, Honda Cadet, and finally senior Rotax A versus B round out today. We'll be starting tomorrow with the final 177 heat race, but of course all the drivers here in the Rotax classes aiming to secure tickets to the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals in Portimao, Portugal next month. We'll get a little bit into that later on, but the first championship up is Senior Rotax. So, Heat 1 Senior Rotax. Here are a look at the championship standings. Anthony, again, Morgan Porter leading, but the battle for second, third and fourth and fifth is crucial.
It really is. You can see Dan Holland Racing there, third all the way down to sixth. No points between them, really. The tension in the paddock area, in that tent, must be palpable, I think.
Now, of course, there are 12 point scoring opportunities over the course of the season. Drivers count their best 10 out of 12 scores. Morgan Porter, the GP plate holder, he won his ticket to the grand finals a little bit earlier. He won it last weekend at the Rotax Max International Trophy. And so he has already secured his place in Portugal. We were having a little bit of, and again, big thank you to the people on the chat that are contacting us already. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But here is the starting lineup.
Here's your grid then. Kai Hunter starting on pole position with Caden McQueen alongside Croc Promotion, obviously their home circuit here, based at Whilton Mill. Matty Armstrong as well in third place with Will Ellswood, Jack Stedman and Nelson King rounding out the top six.
So Kai Hunter and Nelson King amongst the battle, and Tom Edmonds amongst those battling for the second place in the championship. Tom Adams and Bradley Barrett go from row number 4. Teddy Clinton and Alex Baker round out the top 10. Ben Burgess and Catherine White round out the top 12 positions on a packed grid.
Indeed, Spencer Shinner there, 13th place. Ryan Luscombe in 14th, Dan Holland Racing. Then the privateer of San Stansbury in 15th. Then it's Brandon Klein Nanglevort, Coles Racing in 16th place. Then George Holbrook and James Tomset rounding out the top 18.
Again, very talented drivers a little bit further back in the pack. Rounding out the 22 kart grid is Edward Matthews, Luke Wood, the E-plate holder, Oscar Houle for Argenti Motorsport, and Katie Cole. Down there is a privateer, but she is on one of the Mad Croc karts, and good to see Mad Croc here joining the Rotax family, as it were, here at their home circuit. And there, in full Technicolor, is a view of just some of those curbs. And now a glance down on to the grid. Now that would be the E-plate kart of Luke Wooder, who is going to start 20th in this one. A big hello to everybody contacting us on the social side of things. A lot of support going out for the Mad Croc team, and a lot of gesticulation over whether I'm pronouncing Portimao or Portimao correctly. Now, we've always thought it was Portimao.
We've had this discussion, haven't
but
we?
last weekend, we were I was out in Portimao, and the locals were all calling it Portimao. It was Portimao, so I don't know. You say potato, I say potato. You say Portimao, I say Portimao. Doesn't matter. It's Portugal, but I got to say it was colder in Portugal than it is here. There is Caden McQueen set to go in kart number 64. His mechanic Josh Stilp is there. You know, a bit of a what's Caden doing? He's got that wetsuit on. Bit of a rush to get to the grid. Once again, we're very, very lucky to have Steve Stretton down there on the grid. There. For Caden McQueen, though, it's a new, new class. We saw him in the Army classes, and it's going to be. So he's a cat amongst the pigeons here, Anthony.
He is indeed, and lots of support on the stream for Caden as well. Yes, there's lots out there, which is very good to see. The 64 there, just having a little play with the steering wheel, just to make sure everything is set. Tyre pressure is being checked, and of course, as the weather conditions are changing dramatically throughout the day, it was clear, but you can still see there it is still raining. So
you see the spots there. There's the O plate of Kai Hunter, Dan Holland Racing driver. Now people say that it's a small grid. Well, this is only 2/3 of the Rotax grid. We've got a full 34 kart grid here, but of course they've been split into groups of 3. There's the Strawberry Racing number 24 of Matt Armstrong, has moved over from MLC Motorsport. I've noticed that Lee Murray from MLC is out in the Middle East somewhere running some drives in an event. There's a look at KR Sports number 19, Will Ellswood. And the number 97 of Nelson King, not wearing a wetsuit. Now,
that's a bold call,
it's a bold call, but also, if you're wondering about whether you're going to make the weight or not, you take your wetsuit off. That driver's and heavy.
It's very good, yes.
But here we go. It's nearly Christmas. Has Christmas come early? Well, it's come early for you guys watching at home. It's come early for us as well, because we're in a nice, warm, dry room, Anthony.
It's coming up quickly for them as well. It's the next corner.
Exactly. Very, very good indeed. But here we go. On the rolling lap for first heat race of the day. Kai Hunter, Caden McQueen, Matt Armstrong, Will Ellswood, Jack Stedman, Nelson King, Tom Adams, Bradley Barrett, Teddy Clinton, Alex Baker, Ben Burgess, Catherine White, Spencer Shinner, Ryan Luscombe, Sam Stansbury, Brandon Nagelvort, George Holbrook, James Thompson, Edward Matthews, Luke Wooder, Oscar Hoole and Kaylee Cole. They are all out. Now they come down to Oisiers, the newly named Oisiers, which comes out onto the back straight there. You can just see some of the mud at the side of the circuit. If a driver spins off, I mean, yesterday the rain was biblical. Anthony,
it was suboptimal.
Distinctly suboptimal.
Yes, yeah, I think that's the best way of putting it. But like I say, these guys have had plenty of practice with getting that sorted, and they've been gifted with it for the start of the first race of the day.
So Caden McQueen on the outside, he's on the inside row there, but he's going to be on the outside for row 1. The O plate of Kai Hunter comes around the final corner. You can see the size of that curve on the inside. Into the tram lines, lights are green, we're off and racing. It's Kai Hunter with the lead as they head into oblivion for the first time. The drivers further back, all in the midst of the spray, but they have somehow managed to get through turn number 1 cleanly and safely up the hill towards Christmas Corner. Good start. Up into second plate comes Matt Armstrong. McQueen challenging there. Lots of different racing lines around Christmas, but now we're going through the top of the circuit, Inkermans, and then down towards Ashby's. You can just see the back of the car there. Very different lines. Oh, Hunter spun. And that's the number 24 of Matt Armstrong going around. Sorry, not Hunter. Hunter going through there. And one of the KR Sport carts splashes into the puddle. But Anthony, again, relatively steady. As I say that, though, Bradley Barrett gets spun around. And there goes the number 24 of Armstrong trying to make up some lost ground.
Yep, now that just shows the changing conditions that we've had at the start of this race. Before this race started, it was drying. It's now completely soaked again. They've not got used to it. They were getting used to the dry conditions, and now it's all gone to pop, really. Yes. So it's gone like that, which is why we're seeing completely different lines around the circuit. You can see that massive curb on the inside of the final corner.
That was Ryan Luscombe saying goodbye to one of his track rods almost, by the looks of it.
You just see the mechanics.
As they head up the hill, now the advantage that Kai Hunter has got, number 1, he's in clear air. It's very, very tricky to catch people. So if you get a gap, I think Kai Hunter could manage to squeeze away. Up into second place, Nelson King, his teammate. Then it's McQueen, Stedman, the Project 1, number 62. And there goes, well, to be fair to Matt Armstrong, he's given it the beans on the up. He's had 1 spin, but he's made about 6 or 7 passes so far already. There's a little example further back of just how different the lines here. You want to take Luke Wooder already making up 4 or 5 places, but all 22 drivers safely through at the moment. Tom Adams has lost a lot of ground in cart number 17, the former E-plate holder, but through the bit they look like they're crawling around because again the track is so greasy and everyone hates greasy track, and also these wet tyres, they took an absolute beating yesterday, and it looks like most of them are on worn wets.
Yeah, so of course it's a little bit harder to get the temperature into the tyres quickly in these changing conditions, and of course they're on the dummy grid for quite a while, so they've only got that 1 lap to warm the tyres up. So that's why we saw at the start of that lots of different racing lines, lots of everyone scrabbling for a bit of space as they could, and there's a little bit of jostling there, the 16 and the 62 and the 19. Yes. Yeah, so Jack Stedman and Wills Ellsworth side by side through Christmas, but no positions gained or lost, but still scrabbling away. Yeah, well,
Ellsworth sort of give Stedman a bit of a nudge going to Christmas corner there, but then backed out of it and then made the move coming out of Inkermans. Of course, it's very, very difficult to judge your braking, and of course, there comes Stedman back at him, a little wheel-to-wheel contact there. Who's going to get the best run? Well, it's going to be the number 45 of Teddy Clinton who gets the best run onto the inside straight there behind them. And again, that curb at the exit of Oisiers is another monstrous curb. But drivers forced to use them here because you can hook the cart onto the inside, just over the inside curb on some of them, not that last corner, but some of the sawtooth curbs. If you hook the inside wheel over that curb, it drags the cart round the corner. Some of the dips and divots beyond those curbs are chassis scraping-tastic. McQueen with the fastest lap, and Ellsworth, I have to say, making some very good progress here.
Yes, indeed it is. So as they go through Christmas corner again, 6.5 minutes left on the clock. This group that we're watching now, 3 Dan Holland racing carts, nose to tail, Clinton, Luscombe and Baker. I say that, it's now getting a little bit more spicy as the 45 of Clinton gets past the 19 and
Ellsworth gives him a little tap.
Yeah.
Yep, and Ellsworth back to the inside, and again, now on the outside, there's an example of the mud on the outside of the corners. If you miss your braking point, then the mechanic will not thank you because the cart will need a big lead. White gets it on. Now behind this group on circuit, here comes the orange and white Sodi cart of Bradley Barrett. Barrett, the Sony kart, works very well in the wet weather conditions. Driver number 4. Oh, my back's just gone looking at it.
That looked painful. A new fastest lap, Kai Hunter, the O plate. You're racing it at the moment. That gap opening up to 1.23 seconds at the moment. But as we go up the hill now again towards Christmas Corner, the number 19 of Ellswood still holding off this humongous train of karts as they go through. Very well, I have to say. But yeah, everyone, again, scrabbling for those positions, just trying to find a better line. Where's the grip on this circuit? Nobody knows.
Yeah, and fair play to William Ellswood. First-year senior driver, last year's junior Rotax Grand Prix winner. But, I mean, he's running in 6th position. The reason we're showing you... Oh, dear, there goes and Ellswood's gone wide. That, it looks like Ellswood clattered a curb and probably knocked a chain off. Yeah. And as he slowed down, I think that was number 23, Alex Baker, getting turned around in a spin there. And there's Bradley Barrett off. Barrett, and he's taken out one of the Coles carts. Well, that's Brandon Nagelvort's gone with him. And again, you get one wheel on the grass, and the mud and the slippery surface just sucks the kart off. Boom. And out goes Barrett, out goes Nagelvort, who was up there. Ellswood's gone. Baker was spun around. Well, I was about to say the reason we're looking at this battle is because Kai Hunter leads Nelson King by 2 seconds. Caden McQueen is a further 1 second back in 3rd place, and then 4 seconds back to Matt Armstrong in 4th, and another 4 seconds back to Jack Steadman in 5th, and then 5 seconds back to this scrap now, which is still for 6th place, but it's now led by the number 45 car of Teddy Clinton with George Holbrook next. The rest of the field are in there. Look at Luke Woodard from the back of the 20th on the grid, the E-plate holder on the GKS entry. He is making some GMS rather. He's making some bold moves. We've lost Ellswood. Nagelvort is back on. Barrett is back on. Oscar Hall, Spencer Shinner and Katie Cole at the back, and then it is Alex Baker down in 16th position, and understeer, the understeer looks so painfully slow as they try and get some grip, try and get those front tyres to bite.
Yeah, you can just see them going around. No one is sticking to the same racing line. Everyone's just got a different racing line because just no one knows yet. The track conditions are changing so fast. Technical flag there as well.
Kart number 18, I think that's his rear bumper that's fallen off. Yeah. Is about to fall off. I can see on the number 18 kart being dragging along the ground. The inside, the different lines is that, you know, you've got a normal racing line in the wet, and then you've got the attacking racing line going into a corner. But then, now, there's Ed Matthews, there's his bumper as he's going to come in. But of course, if you want to attack somebody going into a corner, you take a very different line. And then, you know, so there we go, there's the attack line. Matthews hasn't seen the flag yet, but he makes the move, but he's going to be slower going out the straight. So it's some very interesting and inventive lines.
Yes, I think that's a good way of putting it as they go through. 3 minutes left on the clock then. We're nearing the end of the first race of the day, and as been said in the comments, this has been a little bit chaotic so far because, of course, those weather conditions massively changed. Black flag going out to the 18, so he's not come in after seeing the technical flag, so black flag has gone out to the number 18 as you see, planting those curbs still on the inside of Crook.
That was Luke Wood. You could see the kart, the trajectory of the car. Oh, good slide, good effort from Matthews now, but unfortunately it's all for nothing. He's been black flagged. I have to say, Edward, privateer driver having a storming run, leading privateer in this field by a long way. His race is over, and he's got to be careful. You know, the stewards might invite him to discuss the last couple of laps of this race already. He needs to be heading back to the pits, even though it's good. He doesn't know what the problem is, but of course the problem is behind him. It's his rear bumper. Oh, there's the number 33, Catherine White, almost understeering into the recovering Alexander Baker. Some comments there, is more important? Yes, more important, he is in a different group. Don't panic about that. The championship leader is here, but he's not in this group. This is Group A and C.
You could just see it there. The 33 getting forced out slightly wide.
And Ed Matthews has pitted.
Yes.
Pitted. There we go.
So it was Catherine White that you saw there running wide out of the boot, and that just shows you when you go wide, it grabs you, it pulls you, and then that's it. You've lost positions, you've lost all momentum. And then out to the curb through pit bend as well, just for good measure.
There was Ben Burgess just going through the screen. Now, the number 1 on his 13 kart on the NASA panel has peeled back, so it looks like he's the number 3, but he's not. He's the number 13. Burgess runs 8th. You're looking at Wooder in 10th. Up at the front, Kai Hunter continues to lead. His lead over his teammate Nelson King is a static 1.1 seconds. They're 3 seconds up on McQueen in 3rd, and 9 seconds up on Armstrong in 4th. 14 seconds up on on Stebbins. This is a very, very spread out race. Burgess on that pink and purple Vision Motorsport outfit. He's eighth in the race, 22 seconds behind, 23 seconds now behind the race leader, and he's got his former junior Rotax rival Tom Adams, the Coles Racing team. Now these two, Burgess and Adams, they both competed against each other in junior racing. They both represented Great Britain in the Rotax Grand Finals as juniors, and you can see the trajectory of the karts there. They're really hooking the karts up, not so much through Ashby's on the inside curbs. The outside curbs are a no-go because they're painted and they're much more slippery than the tarmac circuit. But you'll watch, because with some of these corners, they get up on the inside curve, and if you get up far enough, you drop the inside wheel off the racing line, and you can actually get hooked around the corner. But we have a battle for the lead approaching, Anthony, as you've just spotted.
Yes, like tapping the screen while you're talking, going, that gap's gone down to less than a second. 7/10 of a second now separating Kai Hunter and Nelson King. The battle for the lead. The timer clicks over to 0 now, and there it is. Nose to tail between the two of them for the lead of the first race of the day. It's the first race of the day. They don't have to do it. Yeah, just calm down. But no, they're going for it.
Yeah, no, they're going for it. And,
and there it is.
There it is. And Nelson King, the crossover move, brilliant. And Kai Hunter says, what are you doing? And Nelson's like, I'm trying to win the race. What about you? And but again, you can see they're very, very, very physical in the kart here. Kai, hunkered down, they breed him tough up in Warden Law, and he's an expert in the wet weather. Not saying anything about the northeast of England, but I'm just saying he's good. He's from the northeast, he's good in the rain. We'll say no more.
We'll say no more. Final lap then for this first race of the day. Senior Rotax Race 1, Heat 1 of the final round of the championship here at Whilton Mill. Kai Hunter leading the way from Nelson King, who is again right on his heels as they go through Christmas Corner now. Again, both hooking the car up on that inside curve. We had a look at that inside curve the other day, and you're going to get a good close-up look at that a little bit later on when we show a little track walk we did earlier on.
Yes.
But yeah, you can see here, there it is, the dive down the inside from Nelson King. Has he got enough momentum to keep it alongside? No, of course he hasn't. Kai Hunter comes straight back at him with that switchback. Now they come into Wilkins and Oisius again, the two left-hander. Look over the shoulder there for Hunter. Down the inside again goes King. Oh, but you just see the momentum.
Wheel to wheel.
Oh, no. Oh, boys, don't take each other out. Calm down. It's race 1.
And your teammates. More importantly, your teammates. Oh, no. And Kai Hunter makes the move. Well, Nelson King went for the move. Kai Hunter closing the door. King spins around now. Kai Hunter is fighting for second in the championship. And this win is going to be absolutely brilliant, but it's going to cost Nelson King a little bit. Oh, it doesn't much. He's shaking his head. He lost one place there to Caden McQueen. And again, Nelson King making his presence felt. A couple of times he went for the crossover move, and it was no quarter asked, none given. And I think as the rest of the front runners crossed the line, King third, Armstrong fourth, Steadman fifth, Clinton in sixth position. Let's have another little look back at what pertained at the final couple of corners, Anthony.
Yeah, so it all kicked off as they exited Oisius. Now here's the move. Now you can see here, King going down the inside. Hunter knew it was coming, so got ready to switch it back. Now they got hooked on the wheels here. They tried to separate. Now Hunter's gone back into second and got around the outside, but you can just see there, King tried to hold his nose down the inside, and that's a tricky corner to do it on.
I mean, Hunter was leading, and King was going for the move. The door was closing. Even in the dry, you can slam the brakes on and it'll be fine. In these conditions, you slam those brakes on, and the kart, like we just saw, is saying nighty nights. Yep. And you can see that, right, the left-hand side, there's the engine cover, and that's caked in mud on Hunter's kart. The right-hand side of King is caked in mud, and he hadn't got his wetsuit on, so that race suit is, they're going through the speed bumps there. That's obviously a lot of delinquent driving in the pit lane at Whilton Mill. They put some speed bumps in. But one race down, great result. Let's look at race number 2. It is Minimax, the opening heat race of the day. And 15 drivers in total. And look at the championship standings in the grid coming up. Well, Harry Linden, the GP plate holder and O plate winner, he has pretty much got this championship all sewn up for the Dan Holland Racing team. The battle is on for the second place in the championship and the second ticket to the Rotax Grand Final. Stephen Duncan, Scotland, Stephen Duncan for Vision Motorsport has it. Mackenzie Douglas and Pearson Bullock Carter want it. Great 4 karts battling over the second place. Duncan, Bullock Carter, and also in there was the Welshman Mackenzie Douglas. Here is your starting lineup.
Harrison Crowther starting on the front row alongside the O-plate of Harry Linden. Then it's Pearson Bullock Carter, the 15, and Keane Garrity in the 4th spot. Then it's Stephen Duncan and Jack Hobson rounding up row 3.
Hobson moving over from the Mini X30 class with his team to this one. Row 4, Bryn Collins and Aaron Full.
Yep.
Gustav Usakovs, the Anglo-Latvian driver, another driver moving out of Cadet Honda into Minimax for this event. He starts 9th alongside Ben Crossley. Chloe Chong, the Anglo-Canadian driver, and Alfie Gallagher round out the top 12 positions on the grid.
Rounding out your grid then, Jai Lawrence in 13th place with Liam Hartley in 14th, and rounding out the grid of 15 karts, Mackenzie Douglas for Coles Racing.
Yeah, problems for Douglas in the qualifying session, starting at the back as he tries to snatch second in the championship away from Stephen Duncan. Ben Crossley and Stephen Duncan representing Vision Motorsport, and there is your championship leader. He's running with the O plate, so this is Harry Linden's first year on the national scene. He won the British Grand Prix, he won the British O plate, so he's got a choice. He's like General Post Office, GPO. He can either run the GP or the O plate, but he's chosen to run the O plate this weekend for the Dan Holland team. And alongside the number 77 of Harrison Crowther for Coles Racing. And again, there's the race director Nigel Edwards, just giving Harrison a couple of reminders there, just to say, right, this is what you expect. Calm down, it's slippery, or what have you. Pearson Bullock Carter, Yorkshire's finest, in kart number 15. Then it's the Scotsman Stephen Duncan. This is looking at the outside or the inside front row of the grid, and down there there's Gustav Usakovs, kart number 89 for the Project 1 team. There's Chloe Chong, and there's second of the Project 1 karts, Jay Lawrence, with good hand signal there, fair play, well done. Mackenzie Douglas, obviously he's upset that but he managed to get the hand signal in there. We always like to see that. Not too overly concerned with things. There is Ryan Willis looking up the grid there. The number 56, the number 31, Aaron Full for the XL Motorsport team. 22, Jack Hobson, and the 73, the Jack Dex Racing number 73. Newcomer to the championship this weekend, Keane Garrity. Jack Dex, he has he mechanicked Harry Hannum to a second place finish last weekend in the Minimax event at Portimao. I've always said Portimao.
I've always said Portimao.
I'm going to go against grain. I'm going to stick to my guns on this one.
I like ketchup, not mayo.
Exactly. Although mayo on frites, only if you're in Belgium, though.
Oh.
Only if you're in Belgium, frites and mayo.
Okay.
There we go.
There it is.
But I don't drink port with mayo. I don't drink port. I'm not 70 years old.
I don't drink port either.
Sorry for offending any port drinkers. There's Jack Hobson. Hobson on the cross.
Racing,
Racing, look at that.
Grid,
karting. Yeah. Jack Hobson there. A look at the very intricate, the MW Racing overalls for Jack Hobson. Normally runs as a privateer. He's moved to the Croc team this year. Is that rain falling again? It's bizarre.
Spitting.
It's
the
spitting.
Yeah.
The sun's shining. There is your champion-elect. He's got his brother's crash helmet on. He's got Joe's crash helmet on, though. That's confessing.
It is. Now, these are difficult conditions. Now, a lot of these drivers have got a clear visor on.
Yes.
The sun has just come out.
Yes.
The track is wet.
Yes.
Sun reflecting on a wet surface is the brightest thing
in the universe.
In the universe.
In the universe.
Brighter than a supernova.
Yes.
Very bright.
Yes, very bright indeed. Very bright indeed. So, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge for some of these drivers, I think.
Yeah, and it's what about? Some of them have got reflective visors on now. That is great in some respects, but when the cloud goes away, it gets dark here very early.
It does, yeah.
Luckily the sun is out, as we're now looking at signal being fine. James Fitchew from Alpha Minders popping up on the screen there. He's doing a lot of social media work here for Alpha Minders again. Here we go. First Minimax heat race of the day. Crowther, Linden, Bullock Carter, Garrity, Duncan, Hobson, Collins, Full, Usakovs, Crossley, Chong, Gallagher, Lawrence, Hartley and Douglas. The championship is Harry Linden's pretty much to lose. He has won all 3 finals this year. In fact, he is so each round you get 3 point scoring opportunities. You get points for all your heat races. You get points in the pre-final, and you get points in the final. You get 65 points winning overall the heats, not an individual heat, but overall. 65 points winning the pre-final, 65 points winning the final.
Oh, there's a spin there. The 22. Who's the 22? That's Jack Hobson.
Jack Hobson is not now. He's gonna have to start from the back here, unless they have a false start. He is going to have to start from the back. So coming towards the end of the rolling lap. But of the 9 point scoring opportunities so far, Harry Linden has got maximum points in 2, 4, 5 of them, second in 3 and third in 1. So I mean, there goes Hobson. He's going to get back into his position on the 3rd row of the grid, just about. Aaron Fool lets him in, but here we go.
Yep, let's go racing then. Race number 2, Minimax time. It's their first heat of the day. Into the tram lines, lights go out, green flags away, and here we go into oblivion. Wind that curb on the inside and watch out for that spray as we exit through. Everyone at the front getting through clean. The top 4 and under pressure, 3rd place as well of the 73 and 15 of Bullock, Carter and Garrity as they go side by side. Slotting back into position, a bit of a nose to tail, closing up between each other through Christmas, but everyone again through nice and clean.
Down towards Ashby's for the first time. Coles racing. Oh, and the back of the pack there, 2 drivers running off that looked like it could have been Mackenzie Douglas getting caught out there. Somebody has spun.
It's the 14.
It's the number 14. It's Alfie Gallagher went for a spin.
Oh, no.
And Mackenzie Douglas trying to make his way up from the back of the grid. Gets caught out. Oh, there's the number 31 of Aaron Fool getting run a bit wide. And up at the front, I think that may have been Cian Garrity running wide at Oisiers. And gets back on in that pink and purple number 60. Oh, that was Stephen Duncan. So I think Garrity may have slipped back in the number 73 cart. But again, the leaders able to break away there. Yeah, there's Garrity. He's lost a bit of ground with that Jack Dax Racing number 73, the blue rear bumper on it. And that's what you meant about you can see it on the camera lens there. The drivers are driving straight into that. That is brighter than a bright thing.
Yeah, that's going to be into the run into boot that they're going to be seeing that the most, and into Ashby as well. Luckily, not into Oblivion, which is a lovely corner name if you think about it.
Yeah, and you do not want to be blinded going into that corner because you need your wits about you twofold.
Indeed. 8.5 minutes to go then for race 2 of the weekend. Heat 1 for Minimax, I should say, as they go through nearly 3 wide as they're going into Ashby. Now, it's a very wide entry and a very wide exit at Ashby. So, yeah, there are lots of different racing lines you can take. And we saw it in the last race as well. Lots of people diving to the inside, really struggling, running wide at the exit and getting on the power a little bit later. And a lot of people taking the wider line, tucking in, and then getting on the power much earlier, getting the drive out towards Wilkins. And, you know, we're seeing that all the way through. Again, there's the 18 of Chloe Chong, up 3 positions, up into 8th place at the moment. So, good run there. Not happy with qualifying was Chloe. I saw her Instagram post. She wasn't happy with qualifying. So there was a lot of traffic. So she's working her way through, and the Anglo driver, is working hard to get back up those orders. 7.5 minutes remain.
And so this is what Coles Racing needs. They need to get that breakaway. Harrison Crowther and Pearson Bullock Carter, and you can see great kart control there coming up the hill. But you know, this entire circuit, when the circuit was built, it was built on the side of a hill to create the best viewing potential for the paddock, which is great. You can see all the circuit from virtually everywhere in the paddock, which is brilliant. A lot better than most circuits in the UK. But of course, you know, you're constantly uphill, downhill, positive camber, negative camber. That's what makes it very challenging. Like coming down the hill towards Oisies here, you're going downhill, you're turning left, off camber, and then suddenly halfway around that corner, you're now going uphill, positive camber, through the switchback section of the complex. Now here's Garrity closing in on the number 12 privateer entry of Bryn Collins. Behind him there's the number 18 of Chloe Chong, so she's already gained 2 places up tonight, and Aaron Fool is right behind her. The number 28 at the back of your screen there, that was Jay Lawrence for the Project 1 team in 11th position. Mackenzie Douglas has passed Liam Hartley and Alfie Gallagher after his spin. So Douglas up to 13th. You'll be able to see the red, white and blue Coles Racing machine of 24 Mackenzie Douglas at the back of your shot when we get a long shot of this pack. Up at the front, Harrison Crowther leads Pearson Bullock Carter by 2 seconds. Harry Linden, well, Harry, this is, and again, please don't think that I'm, oh, there's a move.
That's full on Chong getting the job done through Ashby, and that is a way of doing it. Yellow flags, though, at the entry of Christmas, I think that was.
Possibly Alfie Gallagher, who's a little way behind the pack. He may have overcooked things slightly in his endeavours. You can just see him coming through Ashby's there at the top of your screen. Maybe he ran a little bit wide as he attempted to catch the rest of the pack. But Harry Linden, he doesn't need to attack this race. He doesn't need to attack this entire weekend. He doesn't want to get excluded because you score 0 and you have to carry that 0 in as winning your championship scores. So you drop your 2 worst scores at the moment. So Harry just needs to get round clean. Oh, somebody's walking off the side of the circuit. I'm trying to see who that might be. Is it? I think it's Liam Hartley.
It could be the 19 Crop Promotions Liam Hartley. He's not come across the line.
Yeah, and he should have.
He should have,
yeah.
Yes.
So I think that's sadly for Liam Hartley, his first time out.
Oh, no, he just crossed the line now, apparently.
No, that was Alfie Gallagher moving up.
Hartley, oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, sorry, ignore me.
That's right.
Yes, of course.
5.5 minutes to go. Half distance. Crowther and Bullock Carter, they can control this race to the front. In fact, Harrison Crowther is 3.5 seconds up the road. Harry Linden is beginning to close in on Bullock Carter, but Bullock Carter for second place. But this is the best battle. You've just gone. See, there's the Oak going past Bullock Carter and Stephen Duncan right behind them as well. So looking at second, third, and fourth on your screens. Then it's Hobson in fifth, Usakov's in sixth, having a good run on his Mini-Max debut. But second place in the standings. So it's Duncan and Bullock Carter. They're both set to gain good points. Potentially gain good points on Mackenzie Douglas in that battle for second. Pearson Bullock Carter wants that P2 in the championship. Stephen Duncan has got it, but at the moment he is outscoring Duncan, but only by a position as Linden moves into P2.
Yes, so eyes on this group at the moment. They are still scrapping away, but no position change at the moment. Oh, going a little bit wide is Bullock Carter in that 15, trying to get on that power as soon as you can. Now, when you're sideways in these wet conditions, you put the power, usually the momentum should be forward, but the momentum is sideways.
Yes.
So, yeah. That's
sideways, and if you're not careful, backwards.
Yes, backwards and muddy.
Yes.
So, yeah, 4 minutes left on the clock then. Order still as follows. Crowther still leading the way. Nearly 5 seconds of a gap that he's got from Harry Linden.
But that's the advantage of having a first lap where you don't have to defend. You can take the optimal racing line, and you're not looking at someone spray in front of you. You can just get your head down and go. Everyone else behind has got to try and defend, and you lose a lot more time defending and taking, an alternative line in the wet than you would do in the dry.
Yeah, and lap times are showing that as well for the 77, the only driver under a minute in this group.
Quick, 59.88 seconds for the race leader, who's now 5.5 seconds up the road. That is over. That's a second. You can just see there goes Crowther off your screen there.
Yeah.
And this is the battle for second. He's a second a lap quicker than everybody else. There's a move from Duncan. Now, of course, you dive to the inside, and then again, the momentum, you slide sideways, and if you're not careful, you can just slide into the driver on the outside line and just clip him round.
Yeah.
Almost what happened there.
It is one of those, we almost saw a carbon copy there of what happened on the final lap of the first race, but those drivers getting through the boot section nice and clean. Now, it is one of those horrible things about driving in the wet, is that it looks so inviting. Oh, look at that huge gap you've left me on the inside there. I'll just poke my cart through there, and then, of course, when it comes to the exit, you'll be like, oh, no, this has gone wrong. And,
exactly.
And then, you're sliding off all over the place, and you just can't put the power down. So, yeah, it just shows, really, doesn't it? So these three starting to open up a little bit more, and that's allowing the drivers behind to close up. So Jack Hobson, the 22, and Gustav Uskov, sorry. And there's a spin there, the 14.
That's Alfie Gallagher again.
It is the Alfie Gallagher KR Sport.
But but I'm looking at his lap times. His best lap is a 101.3, which is quicker. It's quicker, yeah. I think he's just now over-driving, because he's frustrated that he had a spin. He knows he's quicker than some of the drivers that he's behind. There goes Duncan, passing Bullock Carter for second place. Now, will Bullock Carter come back at him? Yes, he will. They're going to run out of track, and that was, Pearson Bullock Carter like a bull in a china shop there, just rummaging his way through. But again, slowing down. There's the 22 of Hobson, the 89 of Usakov, and Keir Garrity in seventh place, also closing in. So good scrap. But of course, the minute that one driver, like Linden, we've seen Linden, he's passed Bullock Carter, and he's able to pull away now. So the bottleneck drops back a position. So it's now third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh you're looking at on screen, with Full in eighth and Bryn Collins in ninth. Also trying to join this little party in the final 90 seconds of the race.
Indeed, they are, and if they keep scrapping like this, they'll be there.
Oh, and here's Usakov's with the move. Again, makes the move stick, but Hobson's going to have a great run coming out of the corner. Hobson to the inside. But these drivers have an understanding. You were talking about drivers going up the inside line and then understeering into the drivers on the outside line. Well, the next lap, there we go. The next lap, the driver on the outside could be the one trying to make the move on the inside. So they are aware that this is, this is what happens in the rain.
Yeah.
And,
It looked like a bit of a love tap into the boot there.
yeah, that's Cian Geraghty making his presence felt there, and here comes Aaron Fool also making his presence felt as well. So Hobson gets shuffled back a couple of positions. There you go.
There you go.
Warning flag on the screen there from Geraghty. Obviously, the officials were aware that that was a little bit on the forceful side. So Geraghty gets a warning flag. He's moved up into 6th position though. 30 seconds to go. Harrison Crowther's lead is 7 seconds over Linden. Linden is now 3 seconds in front of Bullock Carter. Bullock Carter and Duncan still nose to tail. There they go with the rest with the following chasing pack looking at now. And there's Chloe Chong at the top of your screen in 10th position. Mackenzie Douglas is 5 seconds back up into 11th place. And looking at Douglas's lap times, a 60.57. So Douglas, that's the 4th fastest lap of the race. So as long as, even in the second heat race, as long as he doesn't get caught up with another incident at the start, he can still make his presence felt in the battle, I think, as we start the final lap.
We do indeed start the final lap. Harrison Crowther leading the way then on lap 10. That gap of 7.4 seconds from Harry Linden. There is the 77 with that new fastest lap of 59.790. Again, still the only driver who's managed to get sub 1 minute. Which is not suboptimal.
No,
that is optimal.
Yes.
But as they go through that sun again coming out, that's really
Now that's what the drivers are just looking at a silhouette.
Yes.
They're looking at a silhouette, and of course, they've got to have inch perfect reactions, and that sunlight is distracting. So if the driver in front of them spins, they can't react as quickly.
No.
So it is a risk for them. You can see, but I like to see the whites of their eyes. You can really see the intensity in these drivers through a clear visor. They're not as cool as the Iridium visor. They don't look as cool. But look at that. I mean, Crowther, he just looks like a man on a mission when he is. As he comes to the line, the checkered flag out. There goes Harrison Crowther, a dominant victory. And here's the battle further back, which is going to be Pearson, Bullock Carter and Stephen Duncan squabbling over 3rd. And who is going to take the battle for 7th place? Is it going to be Fool or is it Hobson? It's Aaron Fool who takes actually 6th position. They both pass Cian Geraghty on the last lap. So Crowther wins by 8.5 seconds from Linden. Linden, though, just cruising towards a maiden British Championship, the boy from Barry. I might mention that once or twice, the fact that he's from my hometown of Barry.
You mentioned it a fair few times.
Well, you know what? You just gotta keep the home love, going. But again, very proud moment for Harry coming up, I'm sure, later on this weekend when he's confirmed as champion. But it's Crowther, Linden, Bullock Carter, Duncan and Usakovs, your top 5. Good debut for Gustav Usakovs in this class. Then it's Fool, Hobson, Geraghty, Collins, Chong, Mackenzie Douglas 11th, followed by Jay Lawrence, Ben Crossley, and Alfie Gallagher and Liam Hartley. And again, ladies and gentlemen, you just get to see our Alpha Live cameramen there. They're stuck out in the field, but even though they are stuck out there, they're not. They know they've got to clean their camera lens, as you've just seen briefly there at the end of the race. Good stuff. Well done, lads, out there. It looks lovely, doesn't it? It is lovely.
It is.
It's a nice winter's day here at Whilton Mill. There is Ashby's, and it's great. Downhill, off camber, curb on the inside. When Magic Chimera takes us on a track walk later on, you'll see that a little bit later on, possibly at the end of the day, when there's a bit of a break in the racing. He describes this track wonderfully. But next race is coming up shortly.
Junior Rotax then up next for race 3 of the day here at Whilton Mill for the final weekend of the championship. And let's have a look at the championship standings. You can see there 2 points separate our top 2, Callum Voisin and Matty Hingley, their nose to tail at the front. And close as well, Matthew Higgins only 11 points behind as well in 3rd.
Yep, anyone of 3 can take it. And again, they're battling for those tickets to the grand finals. I think there's possibly 3 tickets in juniors, 2 or 3 tickets in juniors, but it's going to be very, very, very close indeed for the British Championship. Let's see how they line up. And pole position, fresh from a win in the International Trophy at Portimao and making his British Championship debut this weekend for Argentine Motorsport, Danny Ginchard. Matty Hingley, his teammate, starts on the outside of row number 1. Matthew Higgins and Harry Linden. Harry doing double duty. I was going to say it was Joe Linden. No, Harry jumping out of one into another. So doing double duty is Harry Linden. Harrison Collins and Sam Gornall, who's fourth in the championship. Sam Gornall, he starts on the outside of row number 3.
Row number 4, Archie Walker for KR Sport. Then it's Daniel Armstrong, Jez Williams, who thankfully gave us that lap earlier. Thank you very much, Jez. Callum Green for DSM Sports. Oliver Martinsky for Vision Motorsport. And Ryan Willis in the 6th row.
7th row, Callum Boyson, so the pole sitter, the championship leader rather, not having a great qualifying session, down in 13th place. Jamie Perrelly starts alongside Callum. Look for the number 35 Coles Kart to make good progress when racing gets underway. Jessica White and Caitlin May are on row 8. Declan Russell and William Walker are on row number 9.
There you go, 19th place, Louis Weaver in the 69. Then it's Benjamin Ballou rounding out the 20th spot on the grid. Kieran Kay and Leo Lecastro. Great name, that one. I like that.
Yes.
It rolls off the tongue. 22nd place, Ollie Stevens and Drew Perry rounding out the 24th.
25th, 26th on the grid. 13th and final row, Tristan Rennie and Ronnie Mansfield. So 26 drivers. And right, quickly mention about Callum Green. We've just seen Callum Green on the grid. He'll be starting in about 17th or 18th place, the DSM Motorsport driver. Callum goes to the Richard Mays High School, and they are the National F1 in Schools champion. So Formula 1 in schools. They've got this great sort of it's like a technology project. Students constructing their own cars. They're I think they're air powered or something like that. But there's a national competition, and the driver of the DSM number 27, we've just seen on our screens going through there, he's actually doing a good job starting quite far up. His school are the national champions, and Callum is part of that team. He's got F1 in schools on his crash helmet, so well done to everyone at Richard Mays High School for getting there. They were supposed to go to the finals in Australia.
Oh, that would have been nice.
It would have been nice. It would have been nice. Would have been the operative word. They're now doing it virtually from the school canteen. Not as
excellent.
It's still a fantastic achievement. It's not quite having the F1 in schools team go to Australia from Richard Mays High School, but they'll be doing it from the school canteen or somewhere. It might be the assembly hall.
Yeah,
who knows? It's not Australia.
Just as good.
But again, a big well done to Callum and the rest of his schoolmates for doing that. There's Jason Rolfe back in the paddock. Good to see Jason. Hello. He's running the number 62 kart there of Ronnie Mansfield. Ralph Racing. Let's look up. There's the number 33 going across your screens there. That is Ben Ballou. And there's the 45 of William Walker. And we're going to see, there's number 49. We're going to get to Callum Green shortly in the number 20. There he is. Callum Green on the back of his crash helmet. You can see that the F1 school. So well done, Callum, on that DSM entry. Going up towards the front of the grid, the number 31, Harry Linden. So Harry has jumped out of one into another. He's got his brother Joe's crash helmet on, but there is Matty Hingley, number 13, the North Walian driver. He's just getting race director Nigel Edwards, just giving him his final instruction, saying, right, there's the acceleration line, you don't accelerate before then.
Funny story about in my haste of commentary at Clay Pigeon last time out for the Rotax, I may have called him a steward.
Oh dear.
Yep.
Now,
looking at the floor now.
I was going to say, we were admonished in a nice way, right then. Well, and I'll do it. You say, right, young whippersnapper lad. See this clipboard that I carry with me. This clipboard has been around the world as a race director and a clerk of the course, not a steward. But very well, you're doing a grand job. Grand job. But
I think I got away with that. I don't think I noticed.
No, I don't think I noticed. There's
Are we
Danny
out on the PA?
Pardon?
Are we out on the PA?
I hope not. Well, yes, we are.
Yeah, we are.
So,
Yeah.
this
So we
goes to
probably
the
would have
paddock.
heard that.
There's Danny Ginchard, and fresh from. I mean, Daniel. He's done a lot of racing in Europe this year. Again, when he's been able to, the German Championship, I think the Rotax Euro Trophy. He's got that. So he's on the Kart Republic chassis. That race suit was given to him 5 minutes before the victory podium at Portimao last weekend, because he had a Tony Kart race suit on. And Kart Republic, for things. Hang on a second. He's just won an international event on our chassis. The race suit.
Yeah.
And he's obviously taking it home with it. Quite rightly so.
Clearly, yes.
Good.
I would have as well. I like a new race suit.
Yeah. So it's good to see Danny. Now, obviously, Danny Ginchard here, he's here to win, but he's also trying. He's here to help Matty Hingley as well. What better way to help him and to plonk it on pole position? And I mean, Danny Ginchard, that is just confidence doing that. He's just confidence. He's just come away from the biggest win of his life, and you're riding high. Well, we'll see how he does there. And it was Hingley there, but look, 35. The Coles race, the red, white, and blue 35 of Callum Boyce. Now there he goes. There he is.
Yep.
The pressure's on him. He's the one that's got to deal with the pressure. For Hingley and Higgins, look at Gornall. Gornall is 38 points off the lead, so really he's not battling for the championship. But I mean, the pressure's on Voisin. Voisin hasn't won a final yet this year. He's been so consistent, but he's not scored maximum points in any of the heats, pre-finals or finals so far, but it's consistency that's kept him at the front. But now he needs to turn that really into top 3 finish. Here we go though, lights are out, we're off and racing. Good start by Ginchard, he gets the whole shot into oblivion for the first time, and that is Linden. Now Linden, first time out as a junior, no sense, no feeling, up the lead, he's in the lead. And you're pointing at Voisin, Voisin's right in the thick of it. Great start from Voisin though. I'm looking up there as, that's the number 42 of Ryan Willis, who has gone grass tracking. Great start from Callum Voisin there, excellent work.
Yep, another car off in the background as well. Looks like the 37 I can just see in the corner of my eye, which is Jessica White for Vision Motorsport there. Disastrous of a start there, so not ideal. And there is Voisin, the 35 you can just see. There it is. Yeah,
I think he's up into the top 6,
I think he is.
I think he's making 2 for 5th position. Callum Voisin like a rocket off the line. Oh, there it goes, number 31 of that's now Harry Linden. So Harry Linden, so Matthew Higgins is down. I think there might be the grid there. The GP plate is Harrison Collins. Harry Linden is down towards the back of the field as they complete lap number 1. Voisin, 5th position. It's Higgins, Ginchard, Hingley, Walker, Voisin, Collins, Jez Williams 7th, and Martinsky up into 8th place. There's Callum Green and Danny Armstrong rounding out the top 10.
Yep, Higgins had a great start, up 2 positions, managed to get past both the Argenti Motorsport drivers of Ginchard and Hingley as they go through. And I was thinking to myself at the start of this, what is going to be the plan between Ginchard and Hingley? Is Ginchard going to stay in front, let Hingley follow, or is Ginchard going to go behind and defend? So we've not seen that, and Higgins is just, no, thank you, I'll just go past.
Yeah, Higgins is, and of course, and again, this is, Matthew Higgins, we talked about his rallying in the family, his rallying family. And there's a move. That's Harrison Collins almost. Well, that was Callum Voisin defending 5th position from Harrison Collins. Jez Williams in the number 68. Then it's Callum Green in that number 27 DSM score. But we're joking. You mentioned about Matthew Higgins and his history as a rally family. He had a rally car when he was about 10 years old. Just playing around at the local farm. The local his dad runs a rally school, so he was. See, these conditions, they're so greasy. It's perfect rallying conditions in terms of how to steer the car. Oh my word!
No, who's
and
that?
That's Jez Williams who's gone around, and he gets back on just in front of the number 31 kart of Harry Linden. Oh, it's an all Welsh schmozzle there. But they get going in, so all 3 wide into Ashby's. That's nervous at the best of times. Who understeers wide there? But just look how much time they're losing to this group of karts now.
Yeah.
Down to Oysters. But this track where you've literally got to flip the kart like a rally car. You're drifting through there. Perfect for Matthew Higgins. Absolutely perfect. He's 2 seconds at the road. Yeah,
there's ideal conditions for them there. This is definitely a scrabble you don't want to be in the middle of, because it's just so many different karts. There's so much spray coming up. If someone runs wide, they're kicking up the mud, and then you get the mud on the visor. You've got to whack the visor, and then it's just.
And you've got the glare of the sun.
And you've got the glare of the sun.
Look at that.
That's just silhouettes. You can't see who they actually are until they get right to the camera.
And there's a spin at the back of the pack there. That looked maybe like a Dan Holland kart going around. It was
the 81.
Number 81.
That is Ollie Stevens.
Yeah, so Stevens there. But here's the 2nd and 3rd place car: Ginchard and Hingley. Walker is 4th, or is he Archie Walker getting pressured from Harrison Collins? And then it's Callum Voisin. Now it's harder now. So Collins has got past Voisin. Voisin is losing ground to his 2 title rivals at the moment. Oh! And there's a crossover, sorry.
Yeah, well, that's what Voisin needs now, because
Yes.
now he's right on the back of these two. Could he go down the inside here? Looks to it, but doesn't do it. Stays behind, slows the kart down. Wait, because, of course, we spoke to one of our drivers earlier and said it's not the most ideal spot to overtake. You need to wait until Christmas.
Yes. Or wait till Christmas, and don't open your presents.
Don't
before.
open your presents till Christmas Day.
No.
Or Christmas Corner, that
Christmas
is.
corner, yes. Because Voisin made up 10 places on the opening lap. Now that things have settled down, it's much harder for him to gain ground. You're relying on the driver in front of you from making a mistake. It's so easy when you're chasing a driver to just overdrive it ever so slightly. You're trying to brake later, as you would do when you're catching somebody, but, you know, mistakes are punished, and now Voisin's got a good run coming up there. You saw him take a very wide line into the corner, the crossover move. He's going to go wide again. Is he going to dive at the inside into Oisiers?
I don't think he... Oh, is he?
Oh, he's going to have a little nibble.
He is going to have a look at it.
Is he going to get there? Yes, he makes it a place. Good move there, passing Archie Walker. There's the very distinctive silver livery car of Callum Green, who was up at the 7th. Declan Russell up to 8th. Then it's Armstrong 9th and Martinsky rounding up the top 10 of Louis Weaver, Jamie Perry, Tristan Rennie, Ronnie Mansfield from last to 14th. Sam Gornall has slipped down to 15th. Williams is 16th after his spin. Kieran Kay 17th. Then it's William Walker, Ryan Willis, Drew Perry 20th. Harry Linden back to 21st from a great qualifying position. Caitlin May, Ben Ballou, Ollie Stevens. Sadly, Jessica White and Leo Castro are out of the race.
Yeah, that's not the best way to start the first race of the day for Junior Rotax. 4.5 minutes left on the clock then for Heat 1 for the Junior Rotax, as that sun again creeps out behind those clouds, and it just makes track conditions impeccably difficult for a few seconds, but it always seems to be as they're going into the sun, which is, you know, not ideal.
No, exactly. Of course, that few seconds, that's when you're setting the kart up for the apex of the corner.
Yeah.
That's when you're maybe looking at that's when you don't notice the driver in front of you brake. You know, so and it's just those couple of seconds can really have an impact on you know, drivers running into each other or missing their apexes and making a mistake, because of course, you know, mistakes are punished far more harshly in these conditions than they are normally. And again, even the sunlight reflecting off the moisture on the surface, you know, the track looks like it's paved in gold almost.
It does, and it obviously makes the start of the race a little bit difficult as well, because when everyone's there, all the spray kicks up, and it's jolly exciting, isn't it? 3.5 minutes left on the clock. You're currently looking at 37. And
27.
Is it 27?
27.
It's 27. It is 27. Yes, the Archie Walker. Yeah, Callum Green and Archie Walker. Yeah, sorry. It looked like a 3 at the front. That's that sun. It's the glare. It's the glare that's doing it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Got away with that one. Got away with that one.
No, we don't. 6th and 7th place on your screen. Now they're falling away from Callum Voisin. So Archie Walker, he lost a place to Voisin, and now he's defending against Callum Green. So Voisin in 5th position. Voisin's got about 1.2 seconds to make up on Collins. Meanwhile, great job of looking at the midfield battles. We're featuring a lot of drivers in the race that, you know, maybe we wouldn't normally see too much of. The reason behind it is because Higgins is 4 seconds up the road from Danny Ginchard. Ginchard is, I wonder if Matty Hingley is going to pass Ginchard before the end of this one, bearing in mind the championship situation. Ginchard, but he's 1.5 seconds behind Ginchard is Hingley, but he's 2.5 seconds in front of Collins, and then another 2 seconds back to Voisin. Voisin is catching him though, and then we're looking at, and here they come, the 90 and the 27. Green looks to the inside, going to Ashby's. There's the white nose cone of Declan Russell and Martinsky following him. Now there's the Tristan Rennie going through in kart number 74. He started at the back of the grid. He's made really good progress, up from 25th to 12th. Ronnie Mansfield up from 26th to 15th. You're looking at Jez Williams also trying to recover from his spin in the number 68 kart. He is 16th. But there's a good battle. There's Tristan Rennie, the Scotsman in the number 74 kart. He has been making good progress. He's passed the number 69 kart of Louis Weaver in the GMS karting drivers. But 2 minutes to go, and well, if the positions up at the front look like they're pretty sedate, from 6th on back, it's anyone's guess.
It is indeed, and of course these positions that they're getting in is obviously going to determine whether they're going to be starting with the pre-finals tomorrow.
Yes.
And of course, and that's going to be the important thing for these drivers.
For people tuning in for the first time, each driver competes in 2 heat races. Their results at the end of 2 heat races, they go into an overall ranking based on when they finish their heat races, and they score championship points on the overall results of the 2 heat races combined. So we're not racing for championship points in this particular race, although drivers doing well are obviously in effect gaining on their rivals in the championship, even though they're not dishing out points at this point of the day yet. I think we explained that one with some degree of clarity.
I think so as well. Less than a minute to go then. 9 laps completed. Higgins leading the way. The O-plate at the moment from Daniel Ginchard in the 54 Argenti Motorsport. Matty Hingley as well in 3rd place. That gap still fluctuating, but staying roughly within that second margin, which we'll need to see, of course, later on when pre-finals come a bit later on in the weekend. We'll keep an eye on how those scores are doing. But 30 seconds remaining on the clock, and here is the rest of the field. Now, who is this that's coming through? Now, quite a close little battle there. And you can see
Martinsky, Russell. There's Jez Williams making a move with the number 68, passing the number 40 Kart of Jamie Perrelly. What this sort of track conditions does really show, it shows off the skill of these drivers in terms of their ability to ultimate kart control. You know, you're looking at the karts, and sometimes they're facing the wrong way going into the corners, but the drivers, you know, are moving. You know, they've got inch perfect stuff. As the clock strikes 0, and you know, you really have to, you know, well done to the drivers. You're looking at the amount of kart control they've got. Almost 3 wide. Then that's Rennie having a little look up the inside of Armstrong and Sam Gornall, and Rennie's going to get a good run up the hill past Manuel's bank, which on the right-hand side of your screen, the left-hand side of the drivers. Rennie to the outside. Now we'll try the crossover move as Jez Williams trying to pass Louis Weaver. So again, you're going uphill and then downhill towards Ashby's. Great section across the top there. I absolutely loved it as well.
Yeah, it is great. I've not actually raced this section of the track, the International. I've only done the Zulu, so you have that really tight corner. You go back down the hill through the
original layout.
Oh yes, yes. Now those curves through there, they can pack a punch.
But so we're on the final lap. Matthew Higgins, the Midwaylian driver from Trafalgar, leads Daniel Ginchard by 5.3 seconds. Hingley up into, he's in 3rd place, but the gap is coming down. They've crossed the line. Who is going to take the minor placings? Or are they just starting the final lap?
They're just starting the final lap. You're ahead of yourself here, Henry.
We're 20 seconds behind the leaders, of course, because the field gets so spread out. I mean, Higgins is halfway round his final.
Yeah.
There we go.
Higgins is going into about Wilton now, I suspect.
Yeah, there goes Collins. There's Voisin. Then we have Walker and Green. There's Declan Russell with the white nose cone. Then there is Martinsky. But here, the O-plate, Matthew Higgins. I said it was Linden earlier on, but no, this is Higgins, the O-plate. Linden, the GPO winner in Minimax, but Junior Max. There is Higgins out the final corner. Dominant victory. Cross the line, he goes to take the win, and it's going to be Danny Ginchard holds on to 2nd place ahead of Matty Hingley, with Collins in 4th. Voisin rounds out the top 5 ahead of Walker and Green. Russell is 8th. Martinsky is 9th. Gornall rounds out the top 10 ahead of great drive from Tristan Rennie from 25th to 11th. Then it's Jez Williams in 12th, followed by Weaver, Armstrong, Perrelly, Mansfield, Willis, Caitlin May 18th, William Walker 19th, Drew Perry rounds out the top 20. No, make that 19th as he crossed the line. Kieran Kay is next, Harry Linden 21st, followed by Ben Ballou, Ollie Stevens, Will Walker had a spin on the last lap. You see him crossing the line behind those finishing order on your screen. He finishes 24th. Jessica White and Leo De Castro failing to finish. Here's a look at the results now. 47 seconds covering first to last. That's wet weather. If it dries up, that is going to be nothing like that. It's so close in the dry. A real test of skill in the wet. We've got a short break for the next race, so we should be back in about 4 or 5 minutes' time. Don't change that dial.
The karting industry in this country needs to have a revolution. We need to fully embrace the indoor karting industry, which represents the touch point for most people, their first taste of motorsport.
Team Sport are really excited to be partnering with Motorsport UK in launching the first ever British Indoor Karting Championships in 2020. Indoor karting is the most accessible form of motorsport, so literally anybody can enter. It's going to be a fantastic championships run exclusively at team sport tracks across the whole of the UK.
One for Cadet Honda coming up very shortly. Now this will be a standing start for the drivers. Here is a look at the championship standings. It's Zach Drummond leading Ewan Charman by just 12 points. Connor Duncan third. Three different teams battling for the championship at Cadet Honda, although I have to say that the Synergy race team are here en masse with lots of drivers joining the championship. They're coming over from Miami for this one, so it's going to be very exciting indeed. The start of the grid, well, the pole sitter, Scotland's Zach Drummond. It's all Scottish front row, Zach Drummond and Connor Duncan. Row 2, Harrison Mackey and Josh Graham. Row 3, Timo Youngling and Kenzo Craigie.
Rounding out 7th place, Jensen Graham. Then it's Lewis Islin and Oliver Neve. Then Max Cuthbert, Aris Majewskis and Lewis Werrell, rounding out the 6th row.
Row 7, Ewan Charman, so second in the point standings, only 30th of the grid, and Kaiser Raymond, on row 4, on 14th of the grid, the outside of row 7. Oscar Tumulty and Ralph Youngling on row 8. Blake Ticehurst and Aston Sharp, son of former Formula 3 driver Ryan Sharp.
There you go. Rich Haywood, William Murphy, rounding out the top 20. Then it's Cole Denham and then Noah Barham as well in 21st and 22nd. 23rd, Noah Wolf and Jesse Phillips, rounding out 24th.
25th of the grid, Riley Wright and Jarrett Clark. Then it's Alex Hawkett and Thomas Spearing, Dalton Haywood and Rocco Shenton. Good to see the Zipkart team back here with Rocco in kart number 86. There is your full starting lineup. There is your championship leader and pole man, Zach Drummond. But only by a handful of points. You saw the points on our screens, and we shall go through the full rundown of the top 10. It's Drummond and Charman, Duncan, then Josh Graham, Timo Youngling, Blake Ticehurst. That is your top 6, tie for 4th place between Graham and Youngling. There's the number 8 kart of Zach Drummond there on the, he'll be starting from pole. Second, there's Connor Duncan, the SFR Motorsport team Screed Warring Racing. And this is something new to me. They've got their almost like their fisherman waders on instead of full wetsuits.
Yeah, I did see sort of those.
I'm not convinced by them, to be honest with you. I've got to say, you know, I mean, far be it, I'm the last person that needs to be dishing out fashion tips. However, you know, I'm not convinced by the waders, that look, no. Because, again, the idea is to keep the driver dry and also to keep the driver warm. At the end of the day, they're going to have a wet race suit. The top half's going to be wet. I mean, not so much in these conditions, but if they go off, you know, they're going to get caked in mud, and you know, you can jet wash a wetsuit down. Not so much with an actual race suit. Here we go then on the rolling lap, and again, wet tyres order of the day. You can see not as much spray there, so but it's going to take a long time for this track to dry.
Yeah.
There's no wind outside. You can see the skeletal trees in the background there. They're not moving at all. So if the sun is shining, it's very cold. The carts are obviously dissipating water from the racing lines, but it's going to be a long time before this track dries out.
These drivers really need to close up a bit because they're far too spread out.
Well, it's a standing start, I believe.
Oh, of course it is, isn't it? Yes.
Yes, yes.
Oh, it's been such a long break since we've done this.
I know.
I always forget.
I'll take. So I'll have a look on the. Good comments coming in. Amano Shrimp. I've got a feeling that wasn't your given name. If it was, then I do apologise for insulting you. Connor Duncan for this race win. He's going for. Well, that's smart money in there. It's always good to see where you're watching from, who you're following. If you start making silly comments, then we'll do you, basically, with a stick, big stick, remotely. But always good to see positive comments. Watching the drivers racing. Here we go. In the starting lineup.
Indeed. On the ready, primed on that grid. Marshall just running through the middle just to make sure everyone is set ready to go. And a little bit of a chat midway down the grid. Yeah,
just checking. Yeah, he's happy. Grid matches where he should be. Here we go. Hand in the air. Just don't care. Hand down. And we're off. Lights are green. We're off and racing. Spray being kicked up out the drivers, but a good start from the pole sitter. Zach Drummond converts pole position into the turn one lead through Oblivion. Crook. Now this little, it's not even a proper corner, but that corner there is called Fine Lady. Now up the hill towards Christmas Corner. A good clean start. And oh, as I say that though, someone in the middle of the pack spins. They scatter, and that's two of the Ambition Motorsport drivers going around, one in sympathy of the other, and Connor Duncan looking to the inside of the pole man, and the race leader coming through. Ashby's, don't think he made the move work. Yes, he did. Duncan does make it through, and Drummond back to third, and that's the number 88 of Josh Graham up into P2. But here comes Drummond, back at Graham already, through Oisiers and onto the back straight. But good start. Connor Duncan in kart number 3 has the early lead.
Does indeed. Now, I did see a flash of a black and white flag for the 88 of Graham. So, yes, moved up into second place, but picking up a warning flag in the process. So, here they go. 3 wide as they go across that curb. Now, that curb is big when you're in a senior Rotax. These are much smaller cuts.
It's half as tall as the drivers.
Yeah, that's a mountain, and they're clipping it.
Yeah.
Clipping a mountain as they go through the final corner.
It really is. I mean, all these drivers have got rim protectors on. They've got neck braces on. You know, you do need them. This is known as one of the most physically demanding circuits on the calendar for the drivers. Every driver saying how bumpy it is, and of course the curbs not helping matters whatsoever. But it's Duncan who leads, Drummond in second, and then this scrap for third going through now. Number 24 of Harrison Mackey. Harrison Mackey. Oh, now this is Lewis Mackey's younger brother, Harrison. I wondered why Nanny June was on the chats saying hello. Nanny June's watching her younger grandson race. So her grandchildren keeping her very, very busy watching karting out there. So Harrison Mackey, and he's just dropped a couple of places, I think, there. But number 12 kart moving up. That's Lewis Islin, the SFR Motorsport team. There's the number 65 going through. There's the Owen Neve for the Callum Hargrave driver development team. Already, though, Duncan and Drummond starting to use that clean air and pull away from the rest of the field. Graham, Mackey, Craigie, Islin, Neve, Jensen, Graham, the S-plate holder. So new S-plate, Aston Sharp, not the current S-plate anymore. Jensen, Graham, In 8th place is the new S-Brake car, followed by Timo Jungling and Lewis Werrell.
Yep, there they go through then, 7.5 minutes. Another warning flag going out to Graham, the S plate. That's Jensen Graham this time around in 8th place, as we were just discussing there. So warning flags all around, so race control keeping a very close eye on this. But as you can see, that gap closing up at the front. The front three absolutely nose to tail, and actually now side by side as they try to get out the exit of Oisers. Onto the back straight now. Defensive is the number 8 of Drummond, switches back to the outside. And then everyone getting through again, nice single file, but that's allowing everyone else now to close back up, and this is going to be important for the points, of course. Yeah. You have to remember, Drummond is still leading the way. Obviously, they're not going to get championship points in this, but of course, this is going to be done with the stuff for the pre-finals later. So it is still very important of where they finish on this one.
And I noticed one of the 2 ambition carts that spun at Christmas Corner on the first lap was Ewan Charman, who is second in the points standings at the moment.
Yeah.
Ewan. He had a bad qualifying, only qualified 30th. He's down to 24th already. That's not great for you. And I think it may have been Jesse Phillips who spun as well, his teammate, or possibly Jarrett Clark. But and now Duncan under pressure. So this is the first race we've seen where there's been a good battle for the lead. 5 karts all in a line. Duncan, Drummond, Josh Graham, Harrison Mackie, and Kenzo Craigie, the top 5, and they are nose to tail. That tells me that I don't think Connor Duncan is wonderfully happy with the setup of his kart. If you can't use clean track to pull away in these conditions, all is not well.
No, everything or something is suboptimal within the setup of that kart. So 5.5 minutes left to go in towards pit bend, onto the start finish straight. You can see here everyone running slightly wide and a little bit too more as well. That's the 24 of Mackie, who was getting forced out a little bit wide there. So as they exit Crook now up the hill towards Christmas Corner, everyone diving to the inside line, bar the 2 behind, the 24 and the 66 of Mackie and Craigie. They take the long way round and try to sweep around the inside here at the kink and get it done. That was very nicely worked together by those 2.
Good
Joshua
planning.
Graham, who is, I think, actually, has he managed to hold on to that one?
No, and again, Connor Duncan, he's so tentative on the brakes. Now, he's not got confidence in the tyres.
No.
That, to me, says that the pressures are slightly wrong on that car. Oh, and there goes Mackie. And he bounces back on to try and save that position, the Synergy Racing driver. But he's over again. Oh, now as you come back on the track there, is he going to take out one of the ambition carts? He goes back on? No. They just about there. But, I mean, looking at Duncan coming under braking, he's so cautious. He's not happy with the pressures on that kart. There's no bite on those tyres. Now he gets a little bit of clean air, but it looks like Drummond is going to close back in. Oh, Harrison Mackie almost off. Oh, that's so wide. But he was forced wide there by drivers just understeering through the middle of that corner. And there's the number 12 of Lewis Islin losing ground. Now things are getting a little bit tasty, I have to say. There's Joshua Graham has lost a couple of places. So up in front of them, Lewis Werrell in the number 98 kart. He's moved into 4th position throughout all that. Kenzo Craigie is up into the 3rd position. That's the best performance we've seen from Kenzo so far. The 2 championship contenders are still 1st and 2nd, but already, despite this battling, behind them, Connor Duncan's lead is shrinking again. So Duncan has got this, the hardest thing. It's hard enough to win a race defending in the dry. It's even harder in the rain because there are so many different ways around, different lines you can take.
There is so many different lines, as you say, that they could take, and with time fastly running out, I mean, obviously there's 3.5 minutes. Doesn't seem like a lot of time, but in a karting race like this, in wet conditions, that's a lifetime.
Yes,
and of course, with everyone battling and closing up, it's just allowing everyone to close back up now.
Yep.
You know, we're looking here. Where are we now? That's the play, 5th.
Yeah,
there we go. Get the words out. But yeah, so it's 5th backwards, and it's just all compiling together, which is just causing absolute chaos in the mid-pack, and that's, of course, now allowing Connor Duncan, Zach Drummond, Kenzo Craigie, and Lewis Werrell, the top 4, to slowly break away now, and that is ideal for them because, of course, they were under some immense pressure only a couple of laps ago. But now, with 3 minutes left on the clock, it's opening up a bit there. There's a look at the front. There is the top 4, and then there's the big group backwards. So you can just see.
And I've got it, yeah. And the fastest man on circuit is Lewis Werrell in kart number 98. Now, Werrell, top 6 finish in the Cadet Army Championship. He's come over. This is a one-off round in Cadet Honda for him, and he's closing in. He's past Kenzo Craigie. Now, looking at Kenzo Craigie's kart, the bottom of his NASA panel looks like it has detached itself from its screwing. But the actual where it's bolted down, that bolt has come loose. I'm not saying the nose has dropped, but his NASA panel is bouncing around the bottom of it. It's looking a little bit as I did notice him. That's distracted him ever so slightly. He doesn't need to. Don't worry about it. Get your head down and go. But here's the battle for 5th position. Graham leading Mackie, Islin, Tumulty, Jensen, Graham down to 9th. Owen Neve in 10th. Then it's Sharp, Majuskis, Ticehurst, Wolf, Charman up to 15th. So Ewan Charman fighting his way up there. We haven't seen him on screen yet in cart number 10, but I'm sure that we will before long, because he is about to approach this group we're looking at. He's closing in on them, so hopefully he can pick up and salvage a few more positions. But there's the back of the number 88 cart there. Josh Graham, 5th position, being chased by Harrison Mackie into Oisiers. Then there's the orange and white SFR Motorsport cart of Lewis Islin, followed by Tumulty in the number 17. The S plate is Graham. There goes Werrell, passing his teammate and championship leader, Zach Drummond, for 2nd position. So one Synergy driver passing the other. Connor Duncan still leads. Well, Connor Duncan's best lap is a 1:02.96. That is slower than everybody else in the top 7. That says it all, and it also tells you what a magnificent job Connor Duncan is doing for keeping the rest of the pack behind him.
Well, maybe he's got it set up in a way that, yes, he's not comfortable with it, but because he's not comfortable with it, he's being cautious. Yes, and being cautious means he's not making any mistakes. Correct. So it's actually working for him in a way.
Yeah, correct.
So it's...
He's defending there. I think, is he going to have an answer for Werrell? Werrell, however, from 11th on the grid, is already in his wheel tracks. 50 seconds to go for Scotland's Connor Duncan. The youngest Jim Clark fan in the paddock is Connor. He was asked earlier this year, who's your idol? And it's Jim Clark, you know, who, well, fair play.
Yeah.
He knows your history, lad. And, you know, I'm not sure if Connor is a farmer from Stirlingshire, but hey, you know, and there's someone trudging off the side. There's Timo Jungling and Noah Wolf, who are both retired from the race, so that's Wolf walking in. Werrell, 30 seconds to go, has got the race leader right in his grasp.
Yep. Now, you have to remember, if these two start scrapping, that's going to allow Zach Drummond to close back up again. And I know one thing about Zach Drummond is that he will take any opportunity to get past anyone if he sees it. And if he starts to see it, he will lunge. And that may still help out Connor Duncan if he can keep it in check. And you can just see them now all close up. Timer now ticks over to 0. So the final lap board will come out this time around. Defensive goes Duncan, gets a nice punt in the backside from Werrell, who stays behind.
Now that's tactical.
Yes.
Like he is parking the cart on the apex.
Yeah.
So anyone trying to undercut him off the corner, they're naturally fastest with the apex. And just what happened there, he bumps into the rear bumper, and then that gives, then he can go.
Yeah.
You know, so he's literally parking it on the apex, very, very slow through the middle of the corner, a deliberate tactic. Look at that there, bang. And again, Werrell, where can Werrell go?
Yeah.
And again, Werrell again, he was much faster, had to slow down because he just couldn't get the run off the corner. So this is going to be a long, long lap for Connor Duncan.
It is.
But like you say about Zach Drummond, never, like any good Glaswegian, doesn't shy away from a scrap if one's presented to him. Sorry, Scotland, I'm offending everyone this morning. No, but again, Zach Drummond, a very aggressive driver when he's given the opportunity. Here we go, up to Christmas, the final time.
So there was a good opportunity there for an overtake, but none was taken. Now we're going to see what happens into Ashby again. This has been kind of the pivotal moment of this lap. This is where, straight away, Duncan, massively defensive.
Park it on the apex.
Yep. What can he do? What can he do? Can he get round? He can't, so they stay behind. So Werrell still in 2nd place. Duncan positioning that car absolutely beautifully at the moment, but this is allowing Drummond as well to now close up. A big look over the shoulder from Duncan just to see where they are, and now there's contact between Drummond and Werrell as they exit through Oisiers onto the back straight. It's the final lap into the final couple of corners now, and Duncan still leads.
And again, look at that. Werrell just can't go anywhere. Werrell cannot go anywhere. Brilliant drive from Connor Duncan. Have to say, he's not going to spoil it running wide in the last corner. No, he takes the checkered flag. Excellent drive. His best lap, 1:02.96. Everybody else in the top 9 across the line was quicker than him. Track position, parking it on the apex in the middle of the corner. Good stuff there. Thumbs up, good sportsmanship as well. Werrell was quicker. Duncan had the smarts.
Yep. That was incredibly good defensive driving there. And again, a huge congratulations to Werrell Drummond as well, because, you know, they were working really hard for that as well. It was a very tough conditions, tough race, but Connor Duncan came out on top on that one for the number 3.
Yep, I was watching some of the tail enders take the checkered flag there. 30 finishes from 32 starters. Duncan by 0.2 of a second from Werrell. Craigie, Drummond, Paris and Mackie, Nanny June. Yep, top 5 for Nanny June. She's happy with that. Followed by Josh Graham, Oscar Tumulty, Lewis Islin, Jensen Graham, Aston Sharp, Owen Neve, and Blake Ticehurst. Aras Majuskis finishing 13th. Ewan Charman recovered from his spin to finish 14th. Then it's Wooden, Murphy, Ralph Youngling, Ryman, Rocco Shenton up into 19th place on the zip cart, followed by Clark, Phillips, Haywood, Hawkett, Denham, Riley Wright in 25th, followed by Dalton Haywood, Noah Barham, Max Cuthbert, Thomas Spearing, and Ben Simpson was the last finisher. Sadly, we lost Noah Wolf and Timo Youngling during that race, and they will go again in heat number 2. But that is the first Cadet Honda heat of the day done. Now, the next race will be Rotax 177. Well, every driver in Rotax 177 is going to get an awful lot of mentions today on the commentary.
I think they will as well.
Because there's only 6 of them. However, small is beautiful, even in the 177 class, which by their very nature, these drivers are the larger drivers, the more well-fed members of our paddock. Oliver Appleby, 7 points clear of Matthew Easton, and Henry Ayres running in 3rd place in the championship. Colin Davis is not here, sadly. Neither is Ben Davis or Louis Large. Chris Thomas, 7th place. Well, he's going to gain a lot of ground because he is here as well. Followed by James Ockenden, Cole Edwards, who is here, Charlie Whaley, who isn't. So, the grid, Cole Edwards, the E-plate holder, the English champion, and the O-plate winner, Henry Ayres, in 2nd. Ben Cowley is 3rd on the grid, followed by Oliver Appleby, Joe Hunt, newcomer to the championship this weekend, and Chris Thomas rounding out the field. So, Appleby, Easton's not here. No, he's not. Easton is not here. So, he is. So the championship is going to be between Oliver Appleby and Henry Ayres. And you caught up with Oliver Appleby a little bit earlier on the weekend. Let's hear from him.
My name is Oliver Appleby and I race in Rotax 177. So far in the championship we've performed pretty well. Had some problems with tyre management which has held us back in the finals, but during the heats and the pre-finals we're good, but just to work on that management and then we'll be set. We're currently in the lead by 7 points. Not as big of a gap as I'd like, but 7 points is alright coming into the last round. I'm trying not to think about the pressure as such, but it's always on your shoulders, but it's just another race, same as ever. Winning the championship would mean a lot, seeing as we've done it now. It'd be nice to finish on a high, but it's so close, you know, don't know what's going to happen. Everything can change on the day, so we'll just see how it goes. Hopefully next year do it all again and come back and, you know, win it again, but you never know, especially with how the world is at the minute. You can never tell, but fingers crossed we'll be back here next year trying to defend the championship.
So there is Oliver Appleby talking about his plans for the rest of the season and what happens next year if he wins. There is Chris Thomas. Now,
how did you guess?
Well, do you know what? It's those reading lessons I've been taking again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're doing me good, and now I can speak good and proper English, like, you know, in it. So the winner of this class, so Chris Thomas, looking at him, Chris Thomas has won this championship on 2 previous occasions. Both occasions he went out to compete in the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals in the DD2 Masters class. The winner of the class this year gets a ticket to race in DD2. What, pray tell, is DD2? Well, we don't race it in this country, but that is DD2 is a 2-speed Rotax powered kart, much quicker than the direct drive senior Rotax classes. So the winner of this class gets a ticket to race in DD2, and it's a spectacular kart, it's a spectacular event. That's what Oliver Appleby or Henry Ayres are hoping to achieve. Now, of course, the 20-point bonus for competing here this weekend. So Matthew Easton, I don't know why he's not racing, but so it's a head-to-head fight between Appleby and Ayres. These weather conditions, now I wasn't at Warden Law, which you were. I mean, the race, and I watched it from back home, and the Ayres winning and that race on slicks in the wet was absolutely spectacular. So these conditions should suit Henry Ayres and put the number 34 kart of Oliver Appleby under a little bit of pressure.
You would have thought so, wouldn't you? So we'll see what happens in this race when that happens. And of course, I don't think any of these drivers have gone for the slicks. I don't think the track's going to dry out that quickly. No, unlike what happened at Wardenlaw. That track dried out very, very quickly because we had a last-second spray just before their final, and there was a huge rush for tyres. And I remember the story. It wasn't a rush for Ayres. It was a lazy mechanic for Ayres who didn't bring the wets to the and said, "Well, we haven't got any time, so we'll just go out on slicks," and it paid off. So
excellent.
There you go.
Oh, there's me thinking it was tactical genius.
Oh no.
It was
bone-idle laziness.
Ah, right. But he's slowing down there now. Why is he slowing down? Why? Well, they're all slowing down, but Henry Ayres was slowing down more. And you can see he's not there alongside Cole Edwards. I can see 5 drivers.
Yes.
Where is Henry Ayres? Cole Edwards, the E-plate kart, is there on the front. Where is Ayres? There he comes.
He is.
Now, he's going to start from the back of the grid. Well, Oliver Appleby is saying thank you very much. He's on the front row. Ayres at the back. Well, I mean, it's the back of a 6-kart grid. Not the end of the world, but lights are out. We're off and racing. Oh, and Ayres is slow again. You can see him banging down on the radiator of his kart. So it's Edwards who leads. Number 22 of Ben Cowley up in the 2nd place. Appleby 3rd. Then it is Hunt and Thomas. And Ayres with a problem. He is going to retire. We'll be down to 5 karts pretty soon.
That's a disaster for Ayres, of course, after the last time out. It's a disaster coming here for Whilton Mill for the final round. But down in towards Ashby, the E-plate of Cole Edwards leading the way from the driver just behind us at the 22. It is of Cowley, who's now moved up into 2nd place after the Ayres driver retiring. But through they go on this first lap. Every driver now just starting to get an eye for the conditions, because this is the first time that they've been out since qualifying earlier today, and conditions have massively changed since then. The sun is back out, the track is much wetter.
And there's nothing we can compare this to, because yesterday, testing, all right, it was wet, but it was pouring with rain.
Yes.
There was the really low cloud, wind blowing, very miserable, I have to say. The sun's shining, the track is drying, so the mechanics it's a stab in the dark for the mechanics to try and guess what will work and what won't. The 5 survivors headed towards Christmas Corner with Cowley and his GMS, well, I have to say, well done to GMS Karting, really, for supporting this class. They're running 2nd, 3rd, and 4th at the moment. No, yet they are 4th with the privateer driver Joe Hunt in 5th position. Now, Appleby wants to try and get past Cowley. Cowley is not featuring. We raced at Lyd, the opening round, and there's a battle. Appleby goes into P2. So Cowley, we haven't seen Cowley since Lyd. He's missed Clay Pigeon, he's missed Warden Law. Chris Thomas has been he missed Clay Pigeon as well, but he's back this time in the number 56 kart. And there goes Appleby over the curb there, but Cole Edwards, the E-plate holder, joined the championship with Clay Pigeon, so he's not a full championship contender. Now, last year, Cole Edwards, great racer, he was racing with the Howarth Racing team last year, turned up with his kart on the roof rack of his VW Golf.
That's how you do it.
That is old school is the way forward.
Yep, that is how you do it.
He was, again, a real character on the paddock, doing it properly, and here he is leading this way. Appleby has got past the teammate Cowley into 2nd place. Thomas is tracking them in 4th place, and Joe Hunt just a second off the pace in 5th. Now Henry Ayres is still out there. He's 11 seconds down. We might see him flash the screen. So his lap time of 60.03. That's only 1.5 seconds slower than Cole Edwards. So whatever, he was smashing around. Maybe there was a spark. To me, that a spark plug cap came loose.
Yeah.
If you could fix it that quickly, that maybe a spark plug cap would work loose. I don't know, but we'll check his lap times. He's still not quite as quick as the rest of the field. There they go across the line to complete lap number 3 to go into lap number 4. There is Ayres. Now the problem seems when he puts the power down, now he's down to 59.5. So that problem solved.
Yeah.
Interesting to see what that was. To me that would have been maybe a loose wire or a loose spark plug cap.
It could be. The spark plug caps on Rotax engines have always been a bane of my life, because the amount of times I've hit my funny bone on a spark plug cap on a Rotax engine.
That's a misnomer if ever there was, because it ain't funny.
It's not funny, is it? It's horrible, and of course, so maybe that's what it was. It was just go on, give it a whack,
yes,
and get back to the front, hopefully. So
yes,
you know, so
now Edwards a 58.65, matched by Appleby at a 58.66. So again, Appleby needs to start closing by more than a couple of hundredths per lap. But of course, still, you can still see the spray, still very difficult. The good news is, for these cost-conscious 177 drivers, is that the tyres, the wet tyres, they're not getting ripped apart on a drying track surface.
No.
There's still plenty of moisture to go and find. You'll start seeing the drivers deviating from the normal racing line to find the wet patches, to cool the tyres down, to keep some life into them. Because once they start overheating, it's like ice skating. You know, it's like trying to walk around with ball bearings on your shoes.
it really is, and that's not a pleasant thing to do, I can tell you.
No, because we do that often.
Yeah, we do.
Ball bearing walking, I've heard, is up for inclusion in the 2024 Olympics.
Is it?
Yeah, alongside breakdancing.
Oh, excellent. I might have a chance. 5.5 minutes then left of the race. E-plate, Cole Edwards leading the way, the privateer. Best his last lap, also his fastest, 58.42. 1.1 seconds is the lead he has from Oliver Appleby, who's obviously leading the championship and wants to get to the front of that. In terms of last lap times, you know, there's nothing between them. That time around, Appleby was 0.2 of a second faster, so he's got that gap down to less than a second now. So it's fluctuating. He's not managing to break away, but he is slowly closing that up, and you can see the visible gaps there. First, second, third, then there's fourth and fifth. He's got the entire grid in the one shot.
No, Cowley is doing a good job, because what he's doing, he is simply following his teammate. He's following his teammate. His teammate is closing in and is catching. So Appleby, that gap was 0.9 of a second. It's going to be less next time around. Looking there, and Appleby did the purple first sector for Oliver Appleby. That tells me it's the fastest first sector of anyone in the race. Edwards, not even his personal best. So half a second disappeared from Edwards' lead on that lap. Ben Cowley is just simply tracking his teammate. He's just tracking his teammate, following his lines, copying him, and that is dragging him away from Chris Thomas and Joe Hunt in fourth and fifth, and it's pushing him up towards, he's keeping him in touch with the two leaders, 58.34. New fastest lap, driver number 34, Oliver Appleby. I say, Edwards did respond, the good middle sector, but Appleby now is in a rhythm on lap number 7, and he's closing in by a lot.
Yeah, very much a lot. Now, but I can see from what I've seen so far is that Appleby's struggling at Ashby's here. Okay. Now, he's going to the inside, but of course he's going to lose the momentum as he goes out. Now, here, Edwards has got a really good line through Ashby. He can really get on that power early out of there, he's fastest in Sector 2, and as what we've just seen there, he's managed to get back in front and open up a gap again. So Edwards is really strong through Sector 2, which now Appleby's going to have to remember, take note, I'm going to have to get him somewhere else and defend through there.
Yes, quite right. Well spotted, and you are right. So what Edwards has got to try and do on the last lap, he's got to hold off Appleby coming out of Christmas Corner. That is where Appleby gets a great run at the hill. Appleby's good in Sector 1. He's going to get a good run up the hill, so he's going to get right onto Coles' rear bumper here. Now there's one opportunity there to Inkerman's where he might think about a move. Now it's a case of Edwards trying to capitalise, Appleby holding on. Edwards has got to make sure that he uses this sector to get enough of a gap so that Appleby's better through the third and final sector, the boot, so that Appleby's not close enough to make a move. So Edwards is really put pedal to the metal, hammer down here, and it's working again for him. But we'll get to this corner now. Now it's Appleby's circuit again. In terms of, so he'll close in. Fascinating stuff. So two different chassis and two different setups. And again, so Appleby again, that gap comes down. Ben Cowley putting in a good very first sector on this lap. 2 seconds ago, so advantage Edwards. Edwards a 58.5, Appleby a 58.8.
Yeah, so it wasn't the best of laps for Appleby that time around. Obviously not by much, but it is what it is that we've seen out there. Now, slightly defensive, not going right to the inside is Edwards. Now, Appleby then closes that back up because he's a little bit wider into the entry. Yeah, so
better through this part. Now it's advantage Edwards again.
Yeah, so as they come into the braking zone, you can see he turns in much earlier than that car. Really dark. The front is properly set up there,
and
properly dialed in.
And you can get on the power without losing the back end as well. So that's good. It's good to the twisty bits, not so great to the fast and flowing bits.
Yes, but there's more twisty bits than fast and flowing bits here, especially in these conditions.
Yes, correct. And so Appleby now, 90 seconds ago, real good game of cat and mouse. This is, fascinating battle. As only 6 karts in the race in this 177. Now Appleby again out of that fast flowing section. Again, Edwards has got to slow the kart down a little bit more. He's more tentative. Appleby has got more confidence of just, the back end is more confident in fast stuff for Appleby. Up the hill we go again. Now watch this, 10 kart lengths, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 kart lengths going into the corner. He gets to the power nicely. We're down to 2 kart lengths. There's the move at Inkermans. Ooh, not quite. That's his chance gone until the last corner.
Yep. So there's one of 2 opportunities this lap around to try and get that done. Again, we come to the part where Edwards is much better, and you can see that gap now reopened up again. So 30 seconds left on the clock. Of course, these drivers can see that Appleby knows he's running out of time to try and get this win in that one. And of course, as soon as he does that, you can guarantee that Cowley's going to close up that gap, and he's going to jump in the opportunities that we can get. So in towards boot. Again, this is where Appleby is slightly faster, slightly more in control that we've seen in the majority of these laps. He's not managed to close up a little bit more, but as they cross the line now,
He'll close. Mark my words. Here we go.
Here we go. In towards Brook. Out of Brook. That's the hill. Now, I say Brook, it's Crook.
I wasn't going to say nothing. But,
right.
To be fair, though, again, look, he didn't do it as much. Edwards, as the clock strikes 0, Edwards is able to fend him off. Now, that could be game over. I love that. Look at those there. You can see the focus in Cole Edwards' eyes. His kart's going straight. He's looking right, looking for his turning point for that corner. Fantastic stuff there. Great camera work, and great to see the focus and the concentration that these drivers have got to cope. Now he takes a wider line than usual through the middle part of the circuit there at Noisiers, and even through sector number 1, Edwards was quicker than Appleby. So Appleby really pushing through the middle part of the race. Maybe pushed a little bit too hard, and it was too much for the tyres. We start the last lap. Edwards, 58.33, fastest lap of the race so far for the race leader. Now Appleby, he's not close enough to make a move here. I think Edwards may have done enough, but Appleby is closing in. He is closing in. He can't make the move through Inkermans. Now, Edwards will stretch out this lead. Appleby, purple first sector, through sector number 1. He's pushing. Now, will he push too hard coming out there? Look at the back end of the car. No, he keeps it straight. No oversteer. Oh, Edwards is under pressure here. Now, we're not going to make a move into Oisies, are we?
He is. He's going to try and go for it. Oh, he's not close enough to do it, but yeah, you could see there he was really piling on the pressure. You could see the car, he'd controlled that a lot more than what he was doing in the previous amounts of the race, but Edwards manages to hold off that attack from Appleby as they exit out of the final corner. Cross the finish line. Edwards is going to take the first race win for the Rotax 177 at the final weekend. Appleby crosses the line in 2nd place. Cowley crosses the line very close behind in P3. Then it's Chris Thomas and Joe Hunt, the newcomer privateer, to the championship, crossing 4th and 5th. Henry Ayres, the man who we were hoping to be at that top battle, unfortunately with an issue early on into the race, finishes 6th place, some 50 or 17 seconds back from the leader.
Yeah, again, so in Cadet Honda, we had a great example of how a driver uses track position to overcome the fact that his kart isn't as quick as the people behind him. That race, fantastic example of how one driver can beat another just by being stronger through the one half of the circuit, and then another driver being quicker through the second half of the circuit there. Oliver Appleby, right at the end, I think Cole Edwards had seen, he knew where the danger area was, Cole Edwards, so Appleby had to surprise him by, the part of the circuit that he normally isn't as good at, by making the move into Oisiers. Didn't quite work, but a very good race. So that's 2 different ways to approach a race and how to win a race in these wet conditions there. Good stuff from the drivers. Sun shining. Now, there's the big red clubhouse building. Just to the left of that on your screen, there's the old clubhouse building. They've given us a nice big room, Anthony, to do our work. So that's where we are in the paddock. Then you've got the white awning there from Motorsport UK Race Control. Then you can see the lorry there from Vital Race Equipment, where they dish out the fuel and everything. And to the right of your screen, Manuel's Bank. Not sure who Manuel was. He's from Barcelona.
Is he?
I don't know, Faulty Towers joke. Dear. Age joke there, you know, too young to remember Faulty Towers and Manuel.
Very well aged, I think.
Anyway,
that is the first races of the day done. That's all Heat 1s. Up next is Race 6, Heat 2 for Senior Rotax.
So this is the second heat of the day. This is Group B, this is Group A and Group C. So half these drivers, McQueen, Ellswood, Nelson King, we've seen once already. For Reese Hunt, the pole man, Oliver Hodgson in third, Morgan Porter, the GP plate holder and championship leader, in fifth. It's their first chance to score points. So it's Reese Hunter and Caden McQueen, Oliver Hodgson and Will Ellswood, Morgan Porter and Nelson King. Have to say, Oliver Hodgson driving for Mark Litchfield. They were teammates and rivals for so many years.
Magic Amera in 7th place with Bradley Barrett alongside one of the privateers. Oliver Meadows and Alexander Baker as well, rounding out the front 5 rows. Josh Pullin and Catherine White rounding out the 6th row.
Good performance from Oliver Meadows, best of the season so far. Jensen Watson, Ryan Luscombe on row 7. Chris Simpson and Brandon Nagelvort on row 8. Ben Casely and James Tomsett on row 9.
Row number 10, Tom Edmonds and Luke Wooder, Harry Gibson and Kaylee Cole rounding out the 22nd spot on the grid. Rounding out the grid of 23 drivers in the A and C class, Lewis Malin, number 6 for Haworth Racing.
Yeah, problems for Lewis Malin in qualifying, maybe a technical problem. But Lewis will see what that young man can do from the back of the grid. Now we wait and watch as the drivers get set to get into their karts. That is Oliver Hodgson. So Oliver Hodgson for the Mark Litchfield Racing team. Oliver raced the opening round of the Senior X30 Championship up at Rowra, and then he's got a lot of other commitments in karting and to do now, so he hasn't been able to do a full season. He's come back to race Rotax. Oliver Hodgson, a junior Rotax world champion. He won that title in 2013 out in New Orleans in the United States. But again, great to see both he and Litchfield were teammates and rivals for the PF International team for many, many years. And Litchfield now running, Mark Litchfield running his own team. There is Lewis Malin. A lot of people say I make fun of Lewis Malin, and I do, but there's a reason why. When my son was born, Lewis was the first one who insisted on getting my 2-week-old son in the seat of his kart, and it's one of my it's a photo I've got of my son, who's now 11, sitting in Lewis Malin's kart down at Landau. Him and his dad were the only ones who were like, oh yeah, you can put your brand new baby in our seat, you know, we don't mind if he pees or poos or pukes all over it. And it's one of my most favourite ever photos, thanks to Lewis and his dad for that.
If you are having lunch at home, we do apologise.
Well, no, but there's a reason, isn't there? I mean, like, I pick on Lewis Malin mercilessly when he's mechanicking. He mechanics in the X30 classes, and I always pick on him. But it's all in good nature, and I give him special mentions all the time because, again, he was responsible for a photo that sits in my flat back home. That is one of my pride and joys. Anyway, enough of family history, but I just wanted to give context. People must think, my God, Henry must not like Lewis Malin. He's always ribbing him completely and mullering him on the microphone. No, not at all. Lewis is
quite
very
the opposite. Quite the opposite.
It's all done with good humour.
Well, as you can see, just before we cut to this shot, you can see there was a bit of a kerfuffle in the dummy grid. I think someone had gone to the wrong side. There was a bit of confusion, so I think we were switching sides there. So
yes. Everyone was switching sides. There is the GP plate holder, championship leader Morgan Porter. Morgan won the Rotax International Trophy last weekend at Portimao. He's got a ticket to the grand final. There are 3 tickets available in senior Rotax. They will now go to the drivers who finished 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the championship. Tom Edmonds is there at the moment. Nelson King is 3rd and Kai Hunter is 4th. Reese Hunter is 5th. Now, Nelson King had that spin, still finished 3rd in the opening race of the day. Kai Hunter won the race. Tom Edmonds, he is going to be starting well down the order. He was, he's down in 18th on the grid for this one. So pressure on number 15 KR Sport driver Tom Edmonds. There's Nelson King. I think he's he's completely forgotten. Is that his brother Levi King mechanicking for him there? Levi, who used to drive as well. I think he just leaves the driving to his brother Nelson now. There is Malin in the number 6 kart on the right-hand side of the grid now for everybody. The number 15, that is Tom Edmonds. So again, Edmonds, there's the man on your screen now, second in the championship. He's protecting, well, he's 7 points in front of Nelson King and 8 points in front of Kai Hunter. Reese Hunter, however, is 25 points further back, but Reese is on pole. Now, Reese Hunter, of course, fully representing the People's Republic of Thailand. We are here, as always, this weekend. And to be, again, a fantastic welcome. I was so unfortunate that I couldn't make the Warden Law round. I had another commitment because, again, Reese and Kai's family have put in a tremendous amount of work at Warden Law. And again, the weather was not great, but Anthony, I know that you all were received very warmly, as is their wont.
Yes, it was interesting conditions that we had at the track at Woodlawn. Oh, there's someone just pulling off to the side there with an issue.
Yes.
Who is that?
Oh dear, that is the number
19.
49 car.
Is it 49? It is 49.
It's 49.
Yes.
It's Chris Simpson, and I have noticed that Will Ellswood has also not gone out. Now, we saw Ellswood retire from the earlier race with a mechanical issue, and I'm wondering if that mechanical issue was somewhat bigger than we initially gave it credit for, because I can't see the number 19 kart. He should be starting 4th. He's not there. The GP plate has moved up, so Ellswood not starting. Simpson also not starting. It's Hunter, McQueen, Hodgson and Porter. Lights out. We're off and racing in the second of the senior Rotax heat, and it's a good start from Hunter. That's Hodgson running a little bit wide there. Is that in front? No, that was King running wide. He's got the Tony Kart race suit on in the Dan Holland Racing machine. And as they come around, there's 3 wide for second, and the back of the field there, that looked like it was the number 38 kart of Katie Cole. Take a very wide line through Christmas Corner, down towards Ashby's for the first time.
Yep, Caden McQueen there being pushed down to 3rd place. Looked like Oliver Hodgson managed to get that car on the inside going into Christmas Corner, forcing the driver to have to go out wide. So yeah, you can see it there in the shot. And again, the GP plate as well. Morgan Porter getting that job done as well. Or did he? Now that is allowing Caden McQueen to get back up into 3rd place and almost trying for 2nd place as well, and gets that done. So it's a cracking exit from McQueen. So the fact that he lost 2nd, almost lost 3rd, he's now back into 2nd. So yeah, a great little recovery drive at the end of lap 1. So that was how many positions, Caden?
Yeah, again, it's really impressive how Caden has transferred from one engine to the other. You know, he's always been on engines with that Croc team. It's a new Rotax on the Mad Croc team. They don't have done Rotax before, but they have taken to it well. Oh, and there's Porter on Hodgson. And Porter quite sensibly, I think, backs out of it. He gave little Hodgson a little love tap there. I thought, well, if I can just ease out of it, now he's going to go for it again into Ashby's. There goes Porter, Morgan Porter. Have to say, the Argenti Motorsport team and Danny Sweeney, of a lot of people were in the paddock, were getting a little bit stuffy when they burst onto the scene. Of course, the team run by, set up by Ron Meadows from the Mercedes Formula 1 team. So they turn up and they've got a lot of nice equipment, big kit, big truck, or what have you. Danny, his first time running a big team. There were a few people, I think, that were, waiting for it to all implode. But they have had a fantastic first year, and they're going through the second Argenti car. Oliver Meadows in kart number 80. This is his best performance by a long, long way, and it's good to see young Oliver really progressing, because he didn't start karting in the last couple of years. He didn't go through cadets. He jumped straight in with the juniors, and now into seniors, and is doing very well considering his lack of experience.
Yep. So it's always that good thing, if you can just jump from one to the other and just get into it, it is always a nice skill to have, because it is always tough out there. And was that a slight issue that we saw from one of the drivers there?
Well, it was Morgan Porter taking the widest line possible without going through, and you can see very, very different for Porter there. Every entrant is a very wide. He's really rounding these corners off. Oh, and there's King and Hodgson side by side. And look at number 6, Lewis Malin, up into 8th place. Oh, and there goes King off. Well, King, he was really forcing the issue. Now he comes back on in front of Hodgson. And again, a bit of sticker swapping there, but Hodgson's not to be denied. Here comes Bradley Barrett through there. So again, this is King, knowing that a ticket to the Grand Final. King's never been to the Grand Final.
Yep.
This is his first opportunity. Hodgson's a former Grand Finals winner. Hunter's represented at low side. Porter's going. Behind him, Bradley Barrett's been a representative from Team UK many, many times. And this is King getting aggressive. Maybe, just maybe, a little too aggressive, but he knows what is on the line. Hodgson's not fighting for championship points. Hodgson's is out for to sort of develop the comp kart chassis, the fluoro, as it were, for the Mark Litchfield Racing team. And I have to say, Lewis Malin for Howarth Racing, he's on a comp kart as well. He's coming this out. Look at him, number 6. He started last. There goes Barrett on the Sony kart through past Hodgson. Well, and Hodgson gets him back. But look at Lewis Malin. Well done, Lewis Malin, flying through the field. Maybe I should make fun of him more often. I think I'll turn the insult level up to 11 because he seems to be responding by putting in a great performance.
Definitely responding well to it, I have to say, for sure. So fantastic move there out of Oisiers onto the back straight, getting that job done. Less than 6 minutes to go then, and I still on this mid-pack battle. It's King, Hodgson, Malin, Barrett that have been kind of nose to tail all the way through these first couple of laps. Now it has quite separated. Now you could look a little further back. You've got Magic Amera, Meadows and Luscombe as well, who are also scrabbling. And that's 8th, 9th and 10th out on circuit. And they are having a good little scrap just in the background there, and shot now as they come in towards Ashby's.
Yep, there's Meadows in the number 80 car, followed by Luscombe in the 99. Up front, 0.3 of a second separates Reese Hunter from Caden McQueen. Hunter just put in the fastest lap of the race, 57.12, but McQueen is responding on this lap. They're trading fastest sector times in first and second. They're 3 seconds in front of Porter in third. Then it's King and Hodgson in fourth place. And there's a move from Oliver Meadows, passing the number 14 kart of... Oh, was that the number 11 of Magic Amera? Yeah, it was. It was the number 11 he was going through Magic Amera. Now, Magic, you fibber, you'll, ladies and gentlemen, you'll watch the track walk later on with Magic Amera. And Magic Amera went, I'm a privateer. I can't afford to go over this curb in the wet. And he just launched that kart straight over it because he was upset that Oliver Meadows had passed him and he wanted to get it back. Ha! Porky Pie's being told. But no, there, and McQueen getting closer to the race leader. The gap now just 1/10 of a second. McQueen taking a different out. There's Porter, and there is fourth place Nelson King. Hodgson in fifth, Malin in sixth, Barrett 7th on the Sony kart. Then it's Meadows in 8th. Then it's Magic Pinocchio Amira in 9th, followed by Luscombe, Watts, Baker, Pullen, and Edmonds. Edmonds in 15th place. His second place the championship. He's got to get it together. Come on, Tom Edmonds. He's just put a personal best lap in, but he's 2 seconds behind Josh Pullen in 13th, as he is the battle for the lead. 4 minutes to go.
Yep, so this gap is still closing up. Lots of support for all of these drivers out on the stream, so please do keep it coming in. But Hunter leading the way for Dan Holland Racing. Only half a second behind, though, Croc Promotions, Caden McQueen. And Argenti Motorsport 3 seconds behind for Morgan Porter, the GP plate. So these two have broken away from the main pack with 3.5 minutes to go. And let's just keep an eye on the styles that they're doing. Let's keep an eye on those racing lines, because, of course, this is the important thing in these conditions. Are we seeing 2 different racing lines? Are they, establishing what works, what doesn't work?
We'll also look at the 2 very distinct driving styles. Hunter, normal, dry weather drive position. Bolt upright in the kart, not moving. Caden McQueen, using his body a lot more. He's moving around the kart. Now we'll see that coming through, especially through Oisiers. Next time through Oisiers, Caden McQueen is leaning right as he's turning left to just sort of, move the weight distribution of the kart ever so slightly over. Up the hill, he puts the flap down there to a bit of extra speed. Now that means there's less air going into the engine. The engine temperature's heating up, but it's quicker. And then he'll flip that up the next time around to cool the engine, but it won't give him quite as much power. Hunter, he's got the flap right open at the moment, so he's still got a little bit in hand if he needs to. So, watch McQueen, not through this corner. This is Wilkins. Watch him down the hill into Oisiers now. Look at the way he moves around in that kart. There we go, shoulder up, shoulder down. Yep. And again, but that balances the kart better for the way he's got it set up. 2 minutes ago, look at 1 or 2 little dry patches are starting to emerge just in certain parts of the circuit. That's going to be offering these wet tyres a lot more grip instantly, but it's going to be wearing them out a lot faster.
It will do, and of course drivers are going to have to keep an eye on that one, as well as the rest of the teams and the other classes who are going to have to keep an eye on the changing track conditions to think, shall we maybe switch? Or
and there's no lunch break. We've already had the break today, so this is just one race after the other. So again, there's no chance for the track to just sit, and sit and dry naturally. It's all going to be karts going over there. Now looking back there's Magic Camara in the number 11 car, holding off Luscombe in the 99, followed by Jensen Watts and then Alex Baker. There's the battle between Watts and Baker. The 41 just flashing, that's Pullen in 13th. Edmonds is up to 14th place, but he's 2 seconds behind the number 41 car to Pullen. There you can see Edmonds being chased by his KR Sport teammate Ben Casely into shot very briefly. The 36, Jensen Watts, you know, closing in into Oisiers, followed by the 23 Dan Holland car of Baker. This is lap number 9, 90 seconds plus a lap to go. I think finally Edmonds is beginning to close in slightly on this group, but I mean he's looking at trying to salvage a top 10 finish at best, while his two of his 3 main rivals for second place in the points, the 2 that are in this race, are running 1st and 4th.
They are indeed. So eyes all the way through this field at the moment, as everyone's kind of got their own rhythm at the moment. Everyone's got their own pace, so everyone's just trying to get to the end of this race. With I think the first race was a little bit carnagey.
So there's the dry patch.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And
they're avoiding it.
They're all moving off it as well.
Yeah.
And that's, to quote you, that is suboptimal, because that is the best place to be on the racing line.
Yes, yeah.
You know, so they're now moving off the racing line just to save these tyres, because again, they might have to use these tyres tomorrow, and they don't want to use them up too much, if at all possible. The top 6 haven't changed place. It's Hunter, 1.2 seconds in front of McQueen. 4 seconds back. In 3rd place is Porter. King is closing in on Porter. Hodgson is 8 seconds back in 5th, and he's just 2/10 in front of Lewis Malin in 6th, and then Barrett 7th, Meadows 8th, and this battle that you're watching with Magic, Amira, Ryan Luscombe, Jensen Watch, Alex Baker, Josh Pullen is next.
You can also see dry patches in the middle of the
Yes.
track over the start-finish line as well. So drivers, again, they probably want to run out wide and get that water that's in the grooves back onto the track. Did I see a driver running there?
I think you may have seen, I will check who that is next time they cross the line. There's a move. Nelson King passes Porter for 3rd and then blocks Porter, as is his right to do. He's made the move.
Yeah.
He's now in front, but coming out of the final corner, the final complex now, the boot. Porter will try and get back at him, but again, Porter, he is, well, he's got 548 points, so he's not completely secure of the championship. He's 16 points up. That is losable, but only if Porter loses it. It's his title to lose, not for others to win, and so he's just thinking, well, you know, he probably knows Nelson's been aggressive, so let's not get too, you know, engrossed in a squabble that could give me a no-scope penalty.
Yep.
Could even get me a time penalty for contact and drop me further down the order. Porter's a very, very intelligent driver. He won't beat himself.
Yeah, no, exactly that. And of course, they've just got to be aware of that. Now, you can see out of Ashby, the 97 of King had a much, much better exit, and that gap really opened up again. So again, you can just see very different racing lines all the way through the field. But back with the race leader, Reese Hunter. He started on the front row. He's stayed there for the majority of the race. Dan Holland's racing. Reese Hunter, the number 5, crosses the line to take race 6, heat 2 for the senior Rotax win. Caden McQueen crosses the line in 2nd place. Again, another second for Caden, and then Nelson King holds off Morgan Porter. That's on the 97, and then GP Plate crossing in 3rd and 4th place. Oliver Hodgson in 5th. Lewis Malin, again, a great finish up, 17 positions, finishing in 6th place. Bradley Barrett finishing 7th. Then it's Oliver Meadows, Magic Amera in 9th place. Jensen Watts up 3 in 10th. Ryan Luscombe, Alexander Baker, Josh Pullen. Then it's Ben Casely, Tom Edmonds, Harry Gibson, Catherine White, James Tomset, Brandon Klein-Nanglevort, Luke Wooder, Kaylee Cole rounding out the top 21, and 2 non-finishers, Will Edward Ellswood and Chris Simpson, 22nd and 23rd.
Well, that's so we're halfway. 6 out of how many have we got today? 10 races.
10
so
races, yeah, 4 to
time
go.
for one quick break. Let's see what some of our sponsors have to say.
The karting industry in this country needs to have a revolution. We need to fully embrace the indoor karting industry, which represents the touch point for most people, their first taste of motorsport.
Team Sport are really excited to be partnering with Motorsport UK in launching the first ever British Indoor Karting Championships in 2020. Indoor karting is the most accessible form of motorsport, so literally anybody can enter. It's going to be a fantastic championships run exclusively at team sport tracks across the whole of the UK.
So the British Karting Championships were very important. You know, it's the place where all of the best drivers were. It was the chance to, or for me to prove, or for any driver to prove that they're the best or that they're capable of winning. There's a lot of good drivers, and you got a lot of different championships here and there, but the British Championships are the main one, or is the main one, and that's something which I actually never won in Cadets, but I won in Formula Kart Stars in 2012 or something. And I know it's something you always remember, racing against a lot of the best drivers, which a lot of them that do win go on to do better things in car racing and get to Formula 1 or so on. So the British Championships are some of the most competitive. People come all the way from around the world for them, and yeah, some of the most enjoyable.
I've got a lot of great memories from the British Kart Championship, winning the Cadet Championship in 2009, and then the Minimax Championship in 2010 were sort of some of my glory years, let's say. But no, those championships are so important. That's where the best talent all comes together. You're racing against the best in the UK, and it really helped me to push myself further because I knew the competition was so high, and you know, it really helped me raise my game to become a better driver today.
So once again, thank you to our sponsors and partners, especially Demon Tweeks, for supporting this year's British Championship. Moving on now to the second and final heat from Minimax. Harrison Crowther and Harry Linden share the front row of the grid. Pearson Bullock Carter and Cian Garrity on row 2. Stephen Duncan and Jack Hobson on row number 3.
Row number 4, Bryn Collins and Aaron Full. Then it's Gustav Usakovs. I'm getting that so wrong. I do apologize.
That's all right.
Gustavs. We'll get it one day. Ben Crossley rounding out row number 5. Then it's Chloe Chong and Alfie Gallagher on row 6.
Hopefully Alfie has a better time of things this time around. Row 7, Jay Lawrence and Liam Hartley. Mackenzie Douglas starts all on his own on row number 8. Look at the point standings. Harry Linden, 571 points lead. Stephen Duncan, 533 points second. Mackenzie Douglas, 519 points third. Pearson Bullock Carter, 517 points fourth. And Ben Crossley, 515 points in fifth. 2 tickets makes the grand finals available. One of them has gone to Harry Linden, I'm sure. Stephen Duncan, Mackenzie Douglas, Pearson Bullock Carter and Ben Crossley fighting over the second of those tickets. There's Stephen Duncan, the driver who is fighting for the... Look at the focus on those eyes. Just visualising the track. That's what he's doing again. Fantastic job here. We've got Stu Stretton down on the grid there, providing us with these pictures today. We haven't actually back in the Alpha team this year.
Moving pictures, that is.
Moving pictures, not still pictures. Chris Walker, kartpicks.net, is out there on circuit doing his usual magnificent job of capturing the still images of this. Moving pictures, that's down to us.
Yes.
Vocal nonsense, that's down to you and me.
Yes.
Here we go. And I have to say, look at that.
That's a great shot of that track drying, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is indeed. Now, this is race 7. The drivers in races 8, 9 and 10, their mechanics are having a very stressful time, I think, at the moment. They're frantically back and forth. Okay, they'll be looking at the times on the live timing. They'll know what a dry setup time is, and they'll know what a wet setup time is, but they'll also know what a time on wet tyres that are dead is. So, Crowther, Linden, Bullock Carter, Geraghty, Duncan, Hobson, Collins, Fool, Usakovs, Crossley, Chong, Gallagher, Lawrence, Hartley, Douglas. 15 drivers, 10 minutes, plus a lap. The second and final Minimax heat of the weekend. The pre-final and final tomorrow, brought to you as ever by Alpha Live. But small matter of this next race to get through for the Minimax drivers into pit bend. The final time on the rolling lap. Lights are green, we're off and racing. Crowther gets a good start, and once again Pearson Bullock Carter, his teammate, brilliant work there for the two Coles Racing drivers. They get across in front of Harry Linden, and Linden back to third, Geraghty in fourth place. Now look at the back, you can see on the outside the Coles Racing car of number 24 Mackenzie Douglas going around the outside. He's got to make some moves quickly. It's the best time to pick up places. He's passed 2, 4, 5. This is where he came to grief in the first heat race. He's on the outside line and he keeps it there. So Douglas making good progress, and that's brave moves there. And he gets sideways. Very brave there from number 24 Mackenzie Douglas. He's got to get himself up at the front quickly if he's going to stand a chance for taking second place in the championship. But up the front it's Crowther who has the race lead. Harrison Crowther only 11th in the point standings, but he's having the weekend of his life so far in this championship. Linden has got past Pearson Bullock Carter for second place. I really want to see a good head-to-head fight between Linden and Pearson Bullock Carter. Has to be fair, all season Linden has won every final. Pearson Bullock Carter has probably been the next quickest driver to Linden. Every time he's caught Harry Linden, he's brought other drivers with him, and as soon as he catches Linden, before he has a chance to have a real go at him, he gets swamped from behind. So I want to see that. Number 15, I want to see a good head-to-head between Linden and Pearson Bullock Carter before this year is out. Are we going to see it in this race?
Well, let's hope so, as they are still nose to tail, second and third at the moment in this class. 8.5 minutes left to go. You can see there the 89 under pressure. That is Uskovs there under pressure from Chong. So Chloe Chong. Oh no, it's not Chloe Chong. It's Stephen Duncan, I should say.
Yeah,
Stephen Duncan managed to get. Stephen Duncan went backwards and then immediately came back. So that is how you do that. So as these drivers exit out of the infield section of Oisiers onto the back straight, eyes on the front here. The number 22, Jack Hobson in 5th place, under pressure from the 73. No, the 73, Geraghty's managed to get past. It's all swapping around here, isn't it?
And I've got to
they
say,
need to calm down.
But and Harrison Crowther at 58.6 is already over a second up the road. He is loving these conditions.
Yes.
Linden second, and Pearson Bullock Carter third. Now at the moment, this is going to be interesting. At the moment, obviously drivers setting personal best times. If there comes a point in this race where we see the times dropping off, that tells us that the wet tyres have cried enough, and it's a possibly slick tyre zone. Who is going to be somebody? I mean, we've got 3 races to go after this. We're watching. This is Crowther leading Linden, Bullock Carter, Hobson, Geraghty. Yeah, that's your top 5. Bryn Collins, fantastic driving, number 12, up into 6th position. There he goes. Then it's Usakovs, followed by Duncan, Fool, and Mackenzie Douglas in the top 10, and Stephen Duncan passing. He was having the same issue that you had a lap ago.
Yeah.
Duncan had been passed, and now he's repassing Usakovs. Aaron Fool is right behind him in number 31, and there goes Usakovs getting those tyres wet. I mean, at some point today, someone is going to gamble on slick tyres as long as it doesn't rain again.
Yeah.
They've probably got look off the racing line though. There is still puddles of water.
Yep.
And as Usakov's ran wide coming out of Pitts Bend there, he literally splashed through the runoff area.
Yeah.
That is how wet it is. But let's see how much longer these wet tyres can hang on, because some of these corners are starting to look, on the racing line at least, full dry.
Yeah.
Now it's just so greasy offline and cold.
And that's obviously making this race more difficult, of course, than what we saw earlier, because, you know, drivers are having to battle with those tyre temps to keep the cool, because, again, they could have to use these tyres tomorrow. They only get the one set. So, you know, they could have to use these tomorrow. Now, that's going to make the issue a little bit more harder later on today, because, of course, when we go into the later races, Honda Cadets, Junior Rotax, and, of course, Senior Rotax again, they're going to have to make a decision, aren't they? They're going to have to start making a decision whether or not they go out on the slicks, as you just said. But it's just... it's touch and go really out there, because at this top section, as you come up the hill now in towards Christmas Corner, round Anchormans and in towards, or Anchormans I should say, and into Ashby, it looks like one solid dry line. Yeah, and again, you're looking at time, so 58.50, another new fastest lap from the race leader Harrison Crowder. That is half a second quicker than anybody else. Pearson Bullock Carter and cart number 15 is closing back in. There's Mackenzie Douglas making a move, and again, he runs a bit wide on Aaron Full, but has got more momentum coming up the straight towards Wilkins. But you can see there, so Douglas made 2 for 5 places on the opening lap. It's now taken him another 3 laps to pick up one more place as drivers start to spread out. All 15 drivers are still running, and of course what Mackenzie Douglas needs to do, he needs to make sure he needs to get out of lunge range. He needs to make sure that he's far enough away from Aaron Ford so that Aaron can't like send him up the inside as quickly going into a corner and sort of disrupt his rhythm. So that moves Douglas. Who's that off? The 14.
That is the 14, and that is a major problem for Alfie Gallagher. Look at that track rod. So broken track rod, our left front track rod there for Gallagher. That's a strange place for it to break, because he would have been punishing the right-hand track rod.
Well, it could have
going
been
over that curb.
It could have been the outside, though. It could have been the outside curb.
Yeah, as he bounced back onto the track.
Yeah. So they are harsh curbs. You got to remember that, yes, when you're going fast on it, it's a big rumble, but in karts they're still fragile, these karts, especially the track rods. They're the main thing that will tend to go if you hit a curb, clout a curb too hard, and that's exactly what you've seen there. So Das Auto is kaputt. Das Auto is kaputt.
And there's Braden Hill on our chat saying, go Stephen, Harry and Alfie. So that's Alfie Gallagher, Stephen Duncan and Harry Linden fan there. Kaylee Coburn supporting Mackenzie Douglas, and Lennon Allardyce also supporting Stephen Duncan. Well, Stephen Duncan is 7th at the moment, not having a great run. He is just in front of the battle you're watching on screen. There goes Bryn Collins, number 12, Keane Garrity in the thing. Not saying enough about Bryn Collins. Bryn Collins, 5th position, privateer, great performance so far. And now there's Douglas. Now Douglas is going to be closing in on the number 16 kart of his second place title rival, Stephen Duncan, before long. There goes Duncan just behind the number 73 of Keane Garrity. Tell you who is on the move. Jack Hobson has just put in a very quick lap in the Crop Promotions number 22 in 4th place. Pearson Bullock Carter in 3rd. So of the drivers battling for 3rd in the championship, that would set for 2nd in the championship, Duncan, Douglas, Bullock Carter and Crossley. Bullock Carter is the best placed of them. Everyone else is really struggling. Duncan 7th, Douglas 9th, and Crossley only 11th. And there is number 56 kart of Ben Crossley trying to pass Aaron Full. Jay Lawrence and Chloe Chong behind him. So you see that Douglas passed the number 31 of Full, but hasn't been able to, pull away from him. Here's the battle for 2nd place on that dry line, like you were saying, Anthony, across the top of the circuit. Linden being pegged back by Bullock Carter, and Hobson closing in on all of them. So Hobson in the number 22, Jack Hobson again, first time in the championship in this class this season. The Croc team doing a very strong job, however, I have to say, of moving over to the Rotax class as well. There's Collins, Garrity, then there's Duncan. You can see Duncan just sitting up in that car, bouncing up and down to try and just get an extra revolution of those tyres to give him a little bit more grip. 2 minutes to go, and the fight for 2nd place. Well, this battle on your screen now, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, is 4.5 seconds behind Crowther. Significantly Crowther puts in the fastest lap of the race, so he has still got more speed in those wet tyres still to go. The wet tyres, for Crowther at least, not going off. That's significant for the next couple of races to follow.
Well, you have to imagine with him being all by himself, he can choose his racing line. You know, if he can go off the line as and when he pleases to keep those tyres cool when he wants to follow the normal racing line in the other places. So, you know, without that pressure, you know, he can look after those tyres, which is why those fastest laps just keep coming in. It'll be curious to have a look at the tyres after the race.
When they do go off, though, they go off very quickly.
Yeah.
So they'll be maybe within 1 or 2 laps, you'll see, I mean, on our timing screens, obviously those who are in karting are familiar, when the driver's last lap comes up on our screens, it comes up in green if it's a personal best. Purple if it's the fastest of the entire race. Green if it's a personal best for that driver. And yellow if it's not a personal best for the driver, if it's not their best lap. When they all start going yellow, very quickly over the space of 1 or 2 laps, that is it. Wet tyres gone. And the moment there's still drivers like Pearson Bullock-Carter who's just put in a personal best lap as he closes in on Harry Linden. He's just not quite close enough. But again, good to see the whole race where Bullock-Carter can really work on the Welshman. You know, work him over once and just, you know, have a good head-to-head without having, I mean, he's got Jack Hobson right behind him, but there's no one lunging in on him and spoiling their momentum. At the moment, though, Harry Linden is able to keep Pearson Bullock-Carter just a kart length behind. For now, yeah, as you say, 20 seconds left on the clock. These drivers will obviously know what the time remaining is. They have the big screen as they go under the start gantry. They will see how long is remaining, so they will see as they come across the line now, and we should see it in our shot. No, we don't quite, but there are 10 seconds remaining on the timer. So they know that this is going to be the last couple of opportunities that they've got to get these moves done. There's your race leader. That is the visual gap that you can see. Look over the shoulder from Bullock-Carter. So he's being aware of what's going on around him, and he can see that the 22 of Hobson is right there. So now he's got to really think, do I attack Linden now? Do I wait to the last lap? Because then if I do, then I'm going to be under pressure from Hobson. So, and of course, Linden's thinking the same. Linden, all 3 of them running out really wide at the exit there, and of course probably trying to cool the tyres down because they've had a long period of dry track there, running off wide to try and find any puddles that they can. Under pressure, 22, Hobson down the inside, gets the job done. So Bullock-Carter now down into 4th place. That's given Linden a bit of breathing space, but it's not over yet because Bullock-Carter comes straight back at him. If whatever you can do, I can do better. And that's twice in 2 races at that corner. Bullock-Carter has made a move work, but he's going to lose out again. Oh, Jack Hobson. Oh, look. Good stuff there from Jack Hobson. Jack Hobson steering away from there just to try and stay off Bullock-Carter so he didn't crash into him. It cost him a position, but that's good awareness there, good drive from Hobson. You can see he could have just let that kart drift into Bullock-Carter and run him out even further wide and probably kept the position. But it wouldn't have been a clean move. He could have blamed the conditions, but he was steering away to just good stuff there from Hobson. Pleased to see. I'm sure Bullock-Carter will be grateful as well, but of course the race ain't over yet. Hobson can still stuff one at the inside at any given moment. We're on the final lap, and the battle is on for 3rd. Crowther's got this one in the bag. He's 6 seconds in front of Linden, who's now well clear of this scrap. Here comes Hobson. Oh, Bullock-Carter defends into Oisies this time, though, Anthony. Yeah, but that's dangerous through here because now he can get the switch back and potentially get the car on the inside going into the boot. But great defensive driver from Carter holds on to that. Here's your race leader, though, the 77 Harrison Crowther. Out of the final corner, across the line, takes the checkered flag, clear by some 5.5 seconds. Back here to the group for 3rd place. Round the outside is the 22 going to go. Who's going to? It's a triple run for the line. Hobson takes 3rd place in the 22. Yes. But yes. Track limits. Well, I mean, that was a fantastic move around the outside. He just kept coming and coming and coming and coming. The lap before on the inside, he did a very gentlemanly thing and didn't run into Bullock-Carter. There, he just sent one round the outside. Yes, high, wide, and handsome. I'm not. Well, we'll say no more about that. But Bryn Collins snatched 4th place there on the line. Yeah. 900ths of a second separating 3rd, 4th, and 5th. There it is on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. Hobson 3rd, Collins 4th, Bullock-Carter down to 5th. Geraghty for the Jack Dex racing team in 6th position. Duncan is 7th. Usakov's 8th. 9th to 4th. Mackenzie Douglas slipping back to 10th there at the end, so 4 got him back. Crossley 11th, so costly day so far for Douglas and Crossley. Not so great for Duncan. Great for Pearson Bullock-Carter at the moment in that battle for 2nd place. Chloe Chong finishes 12th, Jay Lawrence 13th, and then Hartley in 14th, with Alfie Gallagher sadly failing to finish. But we'll go to the next race up is the second junior Rotax heat. But yesterday, Anthony, you had a chance to catch up with our championship leader. Let's see what he had to say.
Hello, my name is Callum Boyson and I race in the junior Rotax class. So far this year we've been quite consistent. We've been collecting points throughout the season, so it's gone well. At the moment I'm leading by 2 points, so it's really close at the top. It's a lot of pressure. Just got to keep consistent and stay out of trouble. It'd be amazing. We've worked so hard this year to achieve this, so it'd really be amazing to win it. Probably do another year of junior Rotax, as it's my first year in the class, and hopefully some racing in Europe as well.
Has a bit of work to do in this one. Didn't qualify well, but we saw in race number 1 raced very well indeed. And here is a look at the grid. Danny Ginchard for Argenti Motorsport and his teammate Matty Hingley on the front row of the grid. Good scrap for second in the first race, but the runaway winner of heat number 1, starting third, the O-Plate Matthew Higgins. Harry Linden has jumped straight out of his mini-max into his junior max. A great start for Harry in the last one, but then he went backwards, had a spin, and finding life a little bit tough in the junior ranks so far. Harrison Collins and Sam Gornall were next.
Row number 4, Archie Walker and Daniel Armstrong alongside 8th place. Then it's Jez Williams and Callum Green rounding out row number 5. Oliver Martinsky in 11th place and Ryan Willis in 12th.
Row number 7. Here is your championship leader Callum Boyson from 13th of the grid, finished 5th or 6th in the first race. Jamie Perrelly is alongside Callum for the Project 1 racing team. Jessica White and Caitlin May are on row 8. Declan Russell, he did well to come up through the field in race number 1 alongside KR Sports' William Walker.
Then it's Louis Weaver in 19th place. Benjamin Ballou rounding out that grid on 10th on that grid. Kieran Kay in 21st, and Leo Lecastro failed to finish the first race of the day. Hopefully a better one this time around. Ollie Stevens in 23rd, and Drew Perry, privateer, in 24th.
Tristan Rennie, watch for his progress, and Ronnie Mansfield are on the final row of the grid. 26 drivers in total. Yes, Rennie and Mansfield both moving into the top 15 in race number 1. Answer a couple of questions. There is a look at the state of the wet tyres in the karts that are about to go out. That is a fully scuffed set of wets. To answer Remy Gilbert's question on the chat, no, nobody is on slicks just yet. The Cadet Hondas are, probably going to go out on wets because the low power, the disadvantage.
Those wets are ruined on one of those cars. The 26.
26 of Oliver Martinsky.
The rears on that one.
Now that could be a bit deliberate,
It could be.
Let's have a little look. There we are. That's a set scuffed.
Actually, no. I think it was the light. I think it was the light. It looked like it had been completely scuffed.
Yes. But the Callum Voisin, have a look over the Anglo-Swiss driver Callum Voisin. They're having a look and just arms folded, focused. He knows the first lap is crucial, absolutely critical. Then it is look a bit further back. Oh, there's Declan Russell representing. Someone running away with slicks.
Yeah,
that's the only slick you're going to see in this race, ladies and gentlemen, on that mechanic's trolley. But again, they're all scuffed wets. There's Ryan Willis looking at it. There's Callum Green, the F1 in Schools program national champion, or part of the school that's the national champions. Now further up, there's some. There is some more there. Now there's Harry Linden having a look. So first time out in juniors. Now he's doing this because the age brackets for karting, mini max, junior max, and senior max is different in the UK than it is in Europe. So Harry Linden, he's won the mini max championship. Well, he's effectively won the mini max championship, but he's too old to race in mini max in Europe. So his ticket for the grand finals, he's going to be a junior. in the grand final. So he's using this to get used to the extra kart, because 72 juniors in the Rotax grand finals from all over the world, and one lad from Barry Island is a big ask. So he is getting some experience here. There's Matty Hingley. Jez Williams getting some support on the thing. So again, a lot of the Welsh getting support, quite rightly so, Anthony.
Yeah.
Quite rightly so. I don't mention the Welsh enough on this broadcast.
Do you know? I've never heard you mention anything to do with the Welsh.
The Taffia. Okay, there's Jez getting a mention there. The Vision Motorsport number 68, the Rhino Goo sponsored driver. There's his dad, Chris, at the back of the pack there. Put your mask on, Chris. Cover that nose up. It's huge. Right, let's go. Rolling lap.
Now, interesting to see where the track conditions are after the Minimax race that has just been out.
This is going to be the race where the drivers can kiss goodbye to this. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
10 minutes plus a lap. The next race after this is Cadet Honda, is it not?
It is.
Now, I would expect that because the lower speed, the lower grip levels, generally those karts, they stay on wet tyres a lot longer than the other classes.
Yeah.
It's the senior Rotax drivers for the last race that are going to be the real ones. Everyone's committed to this. They're all in the same boat. They're all going to have a ruined set of wets at the end of this race. But who can make the set? Now, how many of them have gone for a slightly dry setup? You know, that's the question. So the two Argenti karts on the front row of the grid, Ginchard and Hingley. Then it's Higgins and Linden on row 2. Where is Harry Linden? Here, he's trying to squeeze his way in.
Okay,
there he goes.
there we go.
Excuse me, coming through. Mind your backs, thank you. Now, for Harry Linden, you know, he's just got to try and get through a good, clean race. So the 13 of Hingley, he looks on pole position. He's actually in the outside row.
Yeah.
Because Ginchard is going to have the run into oblivion.
Well, let's see what happens this time around for Junior Rotax. Green flag drops, and away we go. Straight away, you can see the defensive line that the 54 of Ginchard could take. Yeah, go on, what did you see?
No, there was lots of bumping.
Was there lots of bumping?
Yeah, no, because Ginchard absolutely stood on the brakes halfway around the opening corner. Everyone behind went boom, 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 boom. Luckily, none of them got turned around. They're all cleanly through Christmas for the first time across the top of a dry circuit.
Yes, yeah. So the old concertina effect there played dividends through Christmas corner, but again, it's happening here as well through Ashby, 3 wide on the exit, and you spotted out of the corner of your eye Callum Voisin, the 35, who's managed to gain quite a few positions, which is what he needs.
Yes, good driving under pressure there from Callum Voisin. Because now the leaders are going to settle down, and already the front group, it's the middle of the pack, they're still 2-3 wide, and there's one of the Project 1 karts there, and again, he just got 2 wheels on the grass, and it was like a magnet.
Pulls you in.
Yep, so they're all battling. The leaders, the top, I would say 8 karts are all single file with gaps approaching, and Voisin is in that group. There's Declan Russell making a move, the Lid International Circuit sponsored driver. Going through number 16 car with that white nose going on. He's made good progress again. And there's Voisin again up the inside of Hingley, his title rival. So once again, 538 points for Voisin, 536 for Hingley, 527 for Higgins. 11 points separate the top 3. First and second battling on track. And it's advantage Hingley, but only by a whisker.
Yep, he managed to get back past through Ashby there, dive down the inside, and then back comes Voisin now, dives back down the inside of Oisiez now as well, as we go onto the back straight in towards the boot. Who's going to stay in front as they reappear in just a moment? 8 minutes left on the clock. And there's a spinner. Is that Voisin? Is that Voisin?
Who's that going? No, it was a Vision car.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it was
Harry
the
31.
Harry Linden again. Harry Linden just having getting a tough lesson to learn first weekend out in juniors, but this is a test session for the grand finals for Harry Linden. Here comes Higgins. Higgins attacking Danny Ginchard for the race lead. Ginchard sideways through Inkermans. Higgins is going to have a great run down the hill into Ashby's. Has he got the grip in the tyres to make it work? Not quite. Harrison Collins, fantastic stuff in 3rd position as well. They're clear of Gornall in 4th. Hingley and Voisin, the 2 of the 3 title combatants, neck and neck, 5th and 6th, with Armstrong 7th and Russell 8th. There's a move. There's the lead for Matthew Higgins. Up into the lead now. Can Ginchard fight back? He's got a better run, but he's on the outside line for the run into the boots.
Yeah, he's going to have to try and get the switch back here, but he doesn't. He slots back in behind. So now Higgins leads the way. Ginchard now 2nd place with Collins on the tail of these 2 as well. The O-Plate leading from the 54 and the GP as they exit out of the final corner in towards Oblivion. A lot of curb being used through there, but of course it seems to be the favourite racing line in these conditions, with these tyres degrading ever more the faster and the more laps that they do. Everyone now trying to stick to that outside line, because you can see it's a little bit wetter out there, and then switching it back into the inside. Gap slightly opening up at 6.5 minutes to go. Higgins is your new race leader.
Yep, with Ginchard tucked in behind him. Collins watching briefly to Gornall, not out of this one yet. Behind Gornall, there's a 2-second gap back to Hingley and Voisin, with Armstrong, Russell, Martinsky, Green, Walker, Archie Walker next, as Harrison Collins now moves to second place. So Ginchard down to third. Mud on the front of Matty Hingley's cart there, and I wonder if the battle between him and Voisin got a little bit agricultural, could we say. See what happens, but oh, there's Callum Green, the DSM number 27, out of the race. He had such a good run, top 10 performance in the first heat, but he is sadly out of the race. Here's a battle. That's number 33 cart of Ben Ballou, and there's the rotating number 64 of Drew Perry going around, and now he gets back on just in front of the number 62 of Ronnie Mansfield. That's down in 21st and 22nd position. We've lost Jez Williams. He's had a spin. He's down in 24th place. Callum Green and Caitlin May has also had a spin. She comes across the line. So Mansfield, Perry and May all spin on that lap. Williams spun the lap previously. He's trying to fight his way back through. New fast lap, the race leader though, as you're watching, the number 45 cart of William Walker hold on to 12th place. And behind him, here is the battle between, that's Louis Weaver, no, that's number 33 of Ben Ballou. Owen Williams slowing down, Jez Williams slowing down, so a problem for the Rhino Blue sponsored Vision Motorsport driver. He is out of the race. Angus Fender, good to see Angus watching, and Angus, former British Championship front runner, now racing Ginettas and sports cars. Very good to see Angus cheering on for Matty Hingley. Angus will race against Matthew Beaudette back in day. Here's the battle today. Archie Walker in the 90, Louis Weaver in the 69, then the 45 of Walker and the 37 of Jessica White, with the 74 of Tristan Rennie once again up 12 places from, 10 places from 25th on the grid into 15th. He's been chased now by the recovering number 31 Dan Holland cart of Harry Linden. Harry Linden now going at Rennie, and there they go. Up the inside goes Linden, takes the position away. Higgins extending his advantage at the front. Meanwhile, we're not missing anything at the front. It's Higgins 2 seconds in front of Collins. Collins is a couple of cart lengths in front of Ginchard, and they're clear of Gornall in 4th place. But again, as was the case earlier on, the best battles in junior Rotax are a bit further down the order, and we're following them there. And there is the number 33 of Ballou, just sort of giving Ryan Willis a little peck on the rear, going into the final corner, pit bend. And there you go. You could say it. You could say it, Anthony.
What was I going to say?
You were going to say your favourite name. I can see you pointing at him. Leo Lacastro.
Well, yes.
I did it for you. I did it.
You did it.
He's
well,
happy to say.
I wasn't going to do that. I was going to say Ryan Willis is obviously on a recovery drive, because on the very first lap we saw a Project 1 racing car going off onto the grass, being sucked in. That was that driver. Ryan Willis, the 42, was that driver. So on a good recovery run, and still showing that cart's got the pace. Despite the fact it tripped through the mud.
Yes, okay. So, well, Angus Fender reminds me of the chap who's now racing McLaren GT, as of course I forgot, because I haven't seen him since I was in the British GT paddock last year. A lot changes, but good to see Angus watching. Which a lot of drivers, that have come out of karting, they don't necessarily have friends, or they still have people they know in karting, but a lot of their peers move on as well. But they just, again, it's great action. They love the sport, so they'll spend the day watching it, which is really good to see. Because I mentioned Angus Fender twice, that means I get one, like get a pack.
Now, because you asked that, don't give it to him, but I'll have it. Thank you very much.
Here's a look at the second place battle on your screen. Ginchard of the 54, the GP plate of Collins, the 96 of Gornall, and the 13 of Hingley. Hingley has managed to separate himself between him and championship leader Callum Voisin. But so far, Voisin's going to lose a couple of points in the championship to Matty Hingley here. But I've got to say, Matthew Higgins is really showing the rest of the way here in junior Rotax so far today. Understeer there from Harrison Collins. That's the danger. You go through Cook. If you hit that curb on the inside correctly, it hooks you round and gives you a great run. If you hit it wrong, it spits you across the track.
Yeah.
And it costed time, and that cost Harrison Collins a lot of speed there. He's doing a good job of catching back up to Ginchard. In fact, he's very, very strong on this lap. We've got 2 minutes to go, side by side, in fact. But that, no, Ginchard covers his line down the... Go towards Oisiers. Again, look at that left rear wheel just cocked in the air. You know, as they try and get those cars to dig in. And here comes Hinchley passing Gornall.
Yes, indeed. 1.5 minutes left to go then on the timer, so not much time left, and pressure starting to build up all the way through here. And there's the mud, I think you were saying, on the front of Hinchley's kart. So not sure where he's been or what he's hit out there. Maybe it was a scared driver in front of him. So scared driver in front of him. But less than 90 seconds left on the clock. Higgins again, another fastest lap of the race. He's increasing that lead, 3.5 seconds now at the front. But eyes on Ginchard and Collins at the moment here, second and third. You can see there the track very dry. Curious to see what those tyres look like at the end of this. They look very scrub. That's the 64 who went for a spin. Drew Perry again, Cosmics Robinson
privateer driver. Drew Perry, you know, it's his first year racing national racing. Did a great interview with him. Really good interview at the start of the year. It was big at the end of August.
Yeah.
You know, but it was the start of the season, not the start of the year. And Drew saying, you know, this is just great to do it as a family. You know, learning an awful lot. It's been a bit of a tough education for Drew today. And there's Hinchley now attacking Gornall. In fact, well, that's Gornall attacking Hinchley back. Hinchley briefly was up in the 4th place. Gornall gets him back. Well, Gornall's Coles Racing teammate, Callum Voisin, will be cheering as loud as he possibly can for Sam Gornall to hold off Matty Hinchley. He holds off Hinchley, that's better points for Voisin, or less of a disadvantage for Voisin. Here's Ginchard down the hill in the 54, cannot be chased by Collins. And see, the sun now beginning to set. You know, the day after tomorrow is the shortest day of the year. So we're getting the racing in early because there is no, you know, it gets dark. You know, by 4 o'clock it is dark. It is like night here at the moment. So we're very lucky we've got the sun. The sun is beginning to set in the eye, in the skies, and that will present a whole new set of problems for the drivers because of that low sun. And again, looking into, we talked about earlier, the glare. As we're on the final lap now, Higgins, Ginchard, Collins, and in this battle that we're just looking at there, Gornall and Hinchley.
It is indeed. There is the DP plate of Collins trying to close that gap on Ginchard, but not doing the best of jobs. It is just staying nose to tail, aren't they? There's no time being gained, there's no time being lost. It kind of looks like they're just trying to look after the tyres to make sure they survive, because again, if they need to use them tomorrow, they're going to need to get them to survive. So I don't think people are pushing them too hard. I think the only person who is pushing these hard is Higgins, who's of course leading the way and doing a sterling job. Now, Hinchley, of course, 5th place. He needs to try and get past.
Here he is. Here he is
on shot. Yes.
Half a lap to go.
Yeah, he's there right behind. Try to get past. There's the O plate. Matthew Higgins comes out of the final corner to cross the line. Takes the checkered flag this time as well. And that's a good result for Higgins. And here is that battle. Hinchley needing to get past. Can he quite do it? No. He cannot. He stays behind. So what, Henry, does that mean for the pre-finals?
That means that Callum Voisin has finished behind Matty Hinchley and Matthew Higgins in both of his heat races. I can't say, I mean, obviously Ginchard has been up there as well, so has Collins. So if, for example, so Higgins is going to be on pole for the pre-finals, so that is going to be maximum points for the heats, 65 championship points for Matthew Higgins, without a doubt. I would think that Ginchard is probably second in the overall classifications after the heats. I haven't got the points in front of me. Matty Hinchley and Harrison Collins will be 3rd and 4th. Now I think Gornall finished the first race a little down the order. So I would say that maybe Hinchley on the 2nd row of the grid for the pre-finals, Voisin on the 3rd or the 4th row of the grid, depending on those. So he's probably maybe lost 5 or 6 points to Hinchley and Higgins there. He's certainly lost a lot of points to Higgins. Higgins 11 points behind Voisin coming into this weekend. Possibly that could be Higgins now either ahead or at least right on terms with Voisin and Hinchley. This title fight, it was between Voisin and Hinchley. It's now between Voisin, Hinchley and Matthew Higgins. And Higgins has got the momentum.
Definitely so. And An interesting development then for the junior Rotax. And of course, that was race 8, heat 2 of the day. Honda Cadets are up next, and we spoke to one of the leading drivers.
The leading driver, in fact.
Leading driver, Zach Drummond. Let's see what he had to say.
Hi, my name is Zach Drummond and I race in Honda Cadets. I've performed in very consistent in the championship so far. I want to get to the end in a high. I'm leading the championship with 12 points over Ewan Charman and 17 points over Connor Duncan. Oh, it'd be a dream come true to win such a tough class, and it'd be a great result for the team and who have supported me loads this year. I'm going to really enjoy Christmas. Then next year I'll focus on Miami Cadet, and my aim would be to be number 1 next year in Miami.
Well, a bonny wee Scot there, Zach Drummond. Looking forward to Christmas, looking forward to this next race more than ever though. Here is the grid. Pole position for Drummond. His fellow Scot Connor Duncan starts alongside him on row 1. What a masterclass we saw from Duncan in the first heat race. Harrison Mackie and Josh Graham start from row 2. Timo Jungling and Kenzo Craigie go from row number 3.
Row number 4, Jensen Graham and Lewis Islin. Then it's Owen Neve and Max Cuthbert rounding out row number 5. Aras Majuskas in 11th place and Lewis Werrell in 12th place.
How quick was Lewis Werrell in race number 1 of the second? Zach Drummond's closest title rival, Ewan Charman, starts down in 13th place. He's desperate for a good result after a spin in heat number 1. He starts alongside Kaiser Ryman. Oscar Tumulty and Ralph Jungling go from row 8. Blake Ticehurst and Aston Sharp go from row number 9.
Row number 10, Reg Hayward and William Murphy. Then row 11, Cole Denham and Noah Barham in 22nd place. Noah Wolf and Jesse Phillips rounding out 24th.
Final couple of rows on the grid. Well, not quite actually, because there's 32 drivers in total. Riley Wright and Jarrett Clark on row 13. Alex Hawcutt and Thomas Spearing on row 14. Dalton Hayward and Rocco Shenton on row 15.
Final row of the grid then, rounding out the 32 strong grid, Adam Wooden and Ben Simpson.
Well, as you can see, beautiful blue skies here. Live pictures from Whilton Mill near Daventry, right in the heart of England. And Zach Drummond, the Scotsman, on wet tyres. That Synergy Kart chassis. He's got his fishing waders on. Well, there is a lock here at Whilton. This site is Whilton Locks.
Yeah, it's very true, yeah.
Might go and catch some dinner.
Yeah, he'll be off fishing later after this.
Why not? Why not? There is his teammate, number 24 Kart, Harrison Mackie. And there's Lewis Mackie, who we'll be watching race in the junior. Oh, Nanny Mackie gets both of the grandsons on TV. What an early Christmas present for Nanny June there. There we go. She'll pop up now on the chat, don't you worry about that. The new S-plate holder, the new S-plate, Jensen Graham. And back a little bit further, there is the Ambition Motorsport, Ewan Charman. Looking forward, looking at his rivals. You need to be where they are. There he is. Hello, Ewan. Paul James' Ambition Motorsport team. You can see Paul James. Well, you can't actually because he's so small. He's just hiding behind the sitting cadet driver. There you go. There's Lewis Werrell. Big wave from Lewis. Big wave from Andy Potter, his mechanic. What a big pat on the shoulder. Oh my word, you can go A&E after you. When Andy Potter pats you on the back, you dislocate a shoulder. The Lando Norris used to call him Mega Man. Andy Potter was Lando's mechanic in karting for years, and he would call him Mega Man because literally when he was, bellowing for the Grand Zag, going like Andre the Giant it was.
Reminds me of Cal Crutchlow and Mark Marquez in
right,
MotoGP
okay.
at the end after qualifying. Literally congratulated his shoulder out of its socket. So
there we go. There is the eyes fantastic drive in the first heat race. Of course, track conditions very different now. You know, we're dry, you know, mainly dry.
It was a good drive from Duncan. The first race.
Wherrell was much quicker.
Yeah.
It was just that was the middle apex, the apex of the corner. Again, just stand on the apex, because again, if someone's taking a wide line into the corner and trying to undercut, you can't get round them. Yeah, they've got to go all the way around the outside, like Jack Hobson did, which is very, very tricky in the rain. You can see the GP. Conor Duncan was, I think he was first or second in the Grand Prix this year, and he's got the Trent Valley Kart British Grand Prix gloves. He won a prize.
Yeah.
There's the number 88 cars of Josh Graham. Again, those are the fluoro chassis. Oh, Josh, there you go. Out he goes.
He's waving goodbye.
Waving goodbye. Au revoir. Out on the circuit. So rolling lap, standing start.
Yes.
And again, you can see even there, the sun now dipping behind those. You know, oh, it's a Christmassy feeling. It's like a scene from, you know, a Christmas film.
Yeah, there you go.
With racing.
Yeah.
In it. Yeah. Something like that.
What Christmas film has racing in it? If you know, please do let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.
It's bloody Cold Runnings. It's the sequel to Cool Runnings. That is straight to video release. That's what. Yeah. My bobsled racing.
Yes,
yeah.
I watched that not long ago. That was a really good film.
You watch it not long. Oh my God! Well, of course, you're young. You're young. You would know it was part of my childhood. That film
I was a child when that came. It came out in 1994. I was born in 1994.
Oh my word! I was doing things like my parents would be proud of. 1994. Run with the rhythm, one with the ride. It's bobsleigh time. Apologies.
It is a brilliant
it's
film.
now go-karting time. Cadet
Yes.
Honda time. Race 9, Heat 2. 32 rumbling Hondas set to start there.
Now,
you've spotted something. You're waving your pen.
Yeah, I'm waving. If Anthony is waving his pen, it means he wants to say something.
Yes.
Now, track conditions earlier on with this class were a lot different to what they are now, of course.
Correct.
It has been kind of the main subject on today because, of course, it rained at the start of today. It then stopped raining, and now all it's been doing is drying. The temperature has been cold, not much wind, and it's only been the cars that have been going out. Now, with these drivers going around, Conor Duncan managed to hold on to that one because the conditions were very wet.
Yes, correct.
Now, the fact that they're a bit drier, is he going to have to nurse that issue a little bit more, or is this going to benefit him more?
Well, I would think that the setup of the kart is vastly different in this one, but I mean, still, he's going to have to. You can still probably win a race by just being cautious and standing on the apex. We've seen Jack Hobson make that move around the outside. Round the outside is where the track conditions are cooler and wetter, which is better for the tyres. At the back of the grid, you can see Ben Simpson. Good to see Ben in the championship. His dad, Matt Simpson, giving up his own career in the British Touring Car Championship to concentrate on Ben, and Ben making his British Championship debut here this weekend. Off we go. Lights are out from a standing start. Drummond gets a good start. Now, if Drummond can keep Conor Duncan behind, all our musings about how Conor can win this race will come to nothing because Zach Drummond leads the way. But here comes Duncan up the inside, and he's bringing the number 25 car of Timo Jungling with him. And Zach Drummond getting squeezed at the top of the hill at Christmas Corner. He's lost 3 or 4 places. In fact, that's Zach Drummond down to about 6th position. So it's Duncan leading Jungling, and then I can see the first of the ambition cars, Josh Graham in 3rd. Kenzo Craigie is there in, I think, 5th position. The number 24 car of Harrison Mackie in there as well. Look back to see where number 10, Ewan Charman, is. We haven't. Oh, and there goes one of the SFR racing drivers. That was Lewis Islin, I would imagine, off over the grass there. Now, looking at, we haven't had a spinner on the opening lap, so Ewan Charman has possibly gained a little bit of ground, but he's not with the leaders, and it's Conor Duncan back in the lead at the end of lap number 1.
Now, I just saw Kenzo Craigie take off to space over that curve out of the final corner. He is still there. You can see him there right onto the back here in 4th place, looking to try and capitalise on any move. Now, you can see the 3 of them there. Timo Jungling kind of been left out to dry there. We've got pushed right outside and now back down into 5th place. That's allowing the rest of the field to close up. Zach Drummond still there at the moment in 6th place, so needing to catch up to the back of this pack. As you can see, he is right there behind the number 12. So he's actually moved down to 7th place now as Islin has moved up. But, it's not over yet.
Mackie getting shuffled wide there, losing a couple of positions. Duncan has got this. And over the grass there. Oh, someone phoned the chiropractor, because that was a real nasty landing there, but he's kept the kart straight. Hopefully nothing has worked itself loose or been damaged on the undercarriage of that kart. But again, different lines through the boot. Duncan leads Timo Jungling by half a second. It's going to grow at the end of this lap. Exponentially, it's going to grow. Fastest lap, 1:0.4 for Conor Duncan. Lewis Werrell beats that, though. Werrell in kart number 98, already up at 8th position. And Ewan Charman in kart 10. Now he's got a good lap. He's in 9th place. Look for the Ambition kart. He's a long way back. He's the first kart in that second pack. So Charman has got clear track in front of him. Is the track dry enough for him to really attack this circuit now and close in on the lead group? There's the lead group, and there is Ewan Charman just at the top of your picture. He's got to close in on Duncan, who is third of the point standings, 5 points behind Charman, and Charman has got 12 points to make up on Drummond, who is making his own moves.
Yeah, that was a nice little calculated move down the inside of Timo Jungling, managing to move himself now up into P4 and slowly closing that gap up. He's probably wanting to get these guys behind to work with him now to try and close that front gap, because of course if they start squabbling, they're just going to lose the top three of Duncan, Graham and Craigie, who are, you can see, crossing the line now, and 6.5 minutes left to go on the race. This is far from over, as it's only just begun. Out of the...
Carpenter's song, that is.
Yeah, it is.
Only just begun.
Oh, dear me. Now you can see, well, working together has failed. That's not worked. As you can see that Zach Drummond has now gone back down into 5th place, as Islin, the number 12, tried to get back in front and has successfully done so.
Exactly.
The good old
Drummond saying, Drummond saying to work together to Jungling and to Werrell. Werrell's got, he's got Harrison Mackie right behind him. There's your leader, and again, that lead that Conor Duncan had, it's now shrunk to nothing.
Yeah.
So still not the happiest kart leading the race. Graham and Kenzo Craigie are closing in, the two teammates. I think it's dry enough for you to slipstream and draft with each other and work past now.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to have to do.
I definitely think so, and of course they've got to try and communicate that to the other drivers, haven't they? So if the other drivers don't think that that's the case, then it's not going to work. So yeah, these guys are really going to have to, you know, button up and close up as much as they can.
Yep.
And as you can see here,
the push up the hill.
Yep. Now
8 wheels working against 4, and Duncan's lead still, but it's down to nothing. It's like a cigarette paper.
Yeah. Well, Duncan was, I think, quite lucky there, because he had quite a good exit out the final corner and managed to get a good run across the start-finish line and through Oblivion and Crook as well. So that's why the gap was quite open, and it obviously subsequently closed up when they got to Christmas.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was lucky with that one, because I think if they were right nose to tail with him there, they would have probably had a lunch there at Christmas.
They would have slipstreamed past him without any doubt whatsoever. So the 66 of Kenzo Craigie now needs to get right onto the back of Josh Graham's rear bumper. Duncan's going to try and maximise this portion of the circuit, the boot. They turn right. The second part of the corner, he takes a tight line. That's the dry line through the boot there. So Duncan again understeers, avoids that curb. And again, Kenzo Craigie clatters the curb. It doesn't unsettle the kart too much on landing, so he can push his teammate. Now the two Ambition karts are close enough. Now they go inside, because Conor Duncan knows it there, so he hugs the inside line. They're going to have to go all the way around the outside, and and that doesn't work, because you can't. There's still not enough grip to really get the kart turned into the middle of the track. So Duncan's smart there from Conor Duncan as they head down the hill. It's now Kenzo Craigie in number 66 kart second, Graham third, Islin is fourth, and it's Drummond in fifth, with his teammate Werrell right behind him. Timo Jungling is seventh, Harrison Mackie eighth, Ewan Charman up to ninth, but he's 2.2 seconds behind Harrison Mackie, all on his own. Owen Neve runs in 10th, then Blake Ticehurst, Max Cuthbert, Ralph Youngling in 13th, followed by William Murphy and Cole Denham. Noah Wolf, Jensen Graham, Noah Barham, Oscar Tumulty and Adam Wooden round out the top 20 ahead of Aris Majuskis, followed by Aston Sharp, Alex Hawcutt, Riley Wright, Reg Haywood, Jarrett Clark, Jesse Phillips, Kaiser Ryman, and then Dalton Haywood with Rocco Shenton rounding out the top 30. Thomas Spearing and Ben Simpson are next. Nobody has had a real moment. 18 seconds covers the entire field with less than 4 minutes to go, and another attack for the race lead, Anthony.
Yep, so 3 wide as they go into the braking zone of Christmas Corner, but yet again, Drummond with the better defensive line can hold on to that one. Here we go now, all crosses across the nose of the 66
and
of Craigie.
The teammates now come into contact with another, and that was Duncan getting a little bit more desperate now at the braking.
Yes.
Say, here comes Drummond.
Yep, that's now allowing the rest of the field to catch up as well. Yeah, Drummond now in there in 4th place, now with a chance of that podium spot. And you got to think of the rest of the drivers as well. Werrell, the 98, is the fastest driver on circuit by quite a margin, I have to say, and is consistently staying there, which is why that they've managed to close up. He's been pushing everyone through this field. 3 minutes left on the clock. A big look over the shoulder from the 66 of Kenzo Craigie as they cross the start-finish line. It's starting a new lap with less than 3 minutes to go.
And this, I'll tell you, this is good news for. This is good news for you and Charman, because the top 8 are all together on your screen. The next kart up, just there on his own, that's Ewan Charman, second in the championship. They're all going to be slowing each other down, and Ewan Charman has just set a personal best lap. So he's closing in. He's going to want to try and get to them. We've got 2.5 minutes to go. The more they slow each other, oh, there's contact there, and Kenzo Craigie takes the race lead. Duncan is going to try and fight back, but Connor Duncan is not quick. Can Kenzo Craigie escape? I'm looking at the point standings. Kenzo not in the top 10. In fact, he missed the last round at Clay Pigeon, but he's only 29th in the championship, so he's not a factor, but he just wants a great run. And Connor Duncan coming back at him now, and this is now Kenzo Craigie just sort of standing on the apex. Duncan retakes the lead, the top 8 all over the place, and I'm looking there. So at the end of the last lap, Ewan Charman was 4.5 seconds behind the race leader. He's going to be much less than that this time. It's 3.48. 59.98 for Charman. Charman is on his way to the front. He's got 90 seconds to go. Duncan white lining it all the way around this Whilton Mill circuit now.
Yep, so excellent defensive driving again, just backwards and forwards all the way through this front gap. And of course, yeah, like you were saying, Ewan Charman, they're loving this in front of him, because you can see him there in the background now. He's right there in the shots as the rest of these go through. The number block is coming off the back of Kenzo Craigie's kart.
That tells me that someone has hit the rear bumper of Kenzo Craigie's kart with enough force to dislodge his race number.
So I'm not sure if he's the 66 or the 99 now. I can't quite tell. But there we go. So
Can I have a flake with it if it's the 99?
Yes, exactly that. 1 minute left on the clock. Then Duncan still leads. Goes defensive into the boot now. Is that going to compromise his exit as he tries to exit through here? Yes, it does, because now they're right on the tail as well.
And here comes Lewis Islin, Duncan's teammate. And also side by side for the race lead. Here we go. Craigie runs Duncan very wide. Duncan's going to have the inside line for the run into oblivion. And, well, Kenzo Craigie's going to have to go round the outside of Christmas corner. That's where he can do it. He needs to swing out really wide. He needs to duck out, and then not just the middle of the track, to swing out even wider, but he can't do it because he's going to get passed by Drummond. Drummond is now being shoveled along by Graham in the 88. Islin bouncing over the curb there was Lewis Werrell trying to pick up 3 places, and Ewan Charman has now caught this group. Charman has caught the top 8 and is already making a move, passing, I think that may have been Timo Jungling. Yeah, he's already well within this pack now. The number 12 as well of Islin trying to go around the outside through Wilkins. Can't quite get it done. 3 right round the outside of Orziers. They all close up, mind that curb. No one running onto the grass. That's allowing Connor Duncan to hold on to this one. Timer clicks over to 0 now. So last lap board is out this time. These drivers know that, and there's contact for 66. Up over the top of Craigie. Jungling hits him as well. And
Where's
I think the
Charman?
24. Mackie also in there. I think Ewan Charman managed to squeeze round the outside. Did he? Who's that in 5th position?
I think it is him.
I think Ewan Charman managed to get round the outside.
It is, yes.
Oh, okay, so he's now right with his 2 title rivals. Duncan, Drummond, then Islin, Graham and Charman. So Charman escapes. Mackie has emerged in 6th with Jungling 7th. Neve is 8th, Cuthbert 9th, Werrell down to 10th. Tyser's 11th. The big loser, the biggest loser, was Kenzo Craigie in 12th place. Last lap, and it is now... Well, this is the battle amongst those that got caught up there. But the leaders, it's still Duncan. They're squabbling. This is not going to end well, I fear. No, so all of them running fairly wide out of Ashby's hairpin there. And, of course, they're all trying to carry as much momentum as they can, because that's the trick with these karts is the momentum. You know, they're only small engines, a 4-stroke as well, so they're going to have to really keep the revs up as much as they can. Here is the race leader, though. Connor Duncan under pressure from Drummond, who had a bad start, has managed to close that gap back up. It's a final opportunity out of the final corner. Is he going to try and get a slipstream here and run? He can't quite do it. Connor Duncan takes the checker flag only just from Drummond, Islin, Graham and Charman, who crosses the line in 5th place. Harrison Mackie finishing in 6th place as well. Ooh, what a finish with that. I tell you what, I don't want to be race control. Oh, well, and fair play to Connor Duncan again. That was, I mean, his best lap, a 60.13. Everybody else in the top 8 was quicker than him in that race. So was Ty Surst in 10th, Cuthbert in 11th. So again, Duncan with a kart that if you gave everyone 1 flying lap, Connor Duncan's car wouldn't be in the top half dozen. With the track position, you know, he's able to, I mean, and there's drivers tripping over each other behind. That was, you know, deliberate from Connor Duncan there to try and slow everyone down, to get everyone to trip up. So it was Duncan, Drummond, Islin, Graham, Charman from 15th of the grid up into 5th. Good drive from Charman. Then it was Mackie, Werrell, Neve, Young, Timo Youngling in 9th, Tysers 10th, with Cuthbert, Jensen, Graham, Denham, Wolf, Murphy, Tumulty, Sharp, Ralph Youngling only 18th, then Wooden, Majuskas, Barham, Hayward, Riley Wright, Alex Horcutt to the top 24. Everybody made it to the finish of that race, and the top 31 finishers, Ben Simpson in 31st place, all within 20 seconds of the race leaders at the end of that one. So we've got one race to go. Let's have a quick final word of the day from some of our sponsors and partners.
Yeah, the UK karting for me is one of the best. I mean, you've got quality drivers all round.
Yeah, there's a lot of competition, so I've got to make sure I'm focused for this race and all the races for the season.
The British Championship's really one of the hardest I've ever raced in. For anyone, it really is a good learning experience, and although it's a bit emotional sometimes, it's good for the driver.
The karting industry in this country needs to have a revolution. We need to fully embrace the indoor karting industry, which represents the touch point for most people, their first taste of motorsport.
Team Sport are really excited to be partnering with Motorsport UK in launching the first ever British Indoor Karting Championships in 2020. Indoor karting is the most accessible form of motorsport, so literally anybody can enter. It's going to be a fantastic championships run exclusively at Team Sport tracks across the whole of the UK.
Race to go today. It is the third senior Rotax race, heat number 3. Here is the starting lineup. Pole position, Kai Hunter, and alongside him on the front row, Oliver Hodgson. Matt Armstrong and Morgan Porter on row 2, Jack Steadman and Magic Chimera on row 3.
Row 4, Tom Adams, and then it's Oliver Meadows, Teddy Clinton, Josh Pullin, Ben Burgess and Jensen Watts rounding out row number 6.
Row 7 sees Spencer Shinner and Chris Simpson. Row 8, Sam Stansbury and Ben Casely. George Holbrook and Tom Edmonds. Second of the championship starting 18th.
19th and 20th, Edward Matthews and Harry Gibson. Then it's Oscar Houle and Lewis Malin rounding out the 22-strong grid.
Well, watch for number 6, Lewis Malin, came from 22nd to finish the top, his first race in the top 7. Here we are on the rolling lap already. And it's an all Dan Holland front row, the two Hunter brothers. So in the championship standings, Morgan Porter, 548 points. He won his first race. He'll do his second race tomorrow. Has he done his second race? No, his second race is now. Tom Edmonds, 532 points. Nelson King, 525. Kai Hunter, 524. And Reese Hunter, 498. So Hunter is the outsider in the battle for getting one of the tickets to the grand final. But his chance to get a leg up on the opponent starts now, and he's got the inside line in kart number 5. His brother Kai, the O-plate winner, in second place. Side by side is Porter and Hodgson as they head up the hill. Matt Armstrong is there in 5th position, and then it's Magic Chimera. Well, Magic Chimera in kart number 11, he said he loves this track. Oh, it's something for conference spin. That's number 49 kart with the GMS karting
Chris
entries. Chris Simpson, oh, was it number 41, Josh Pullen? I couldn't quite catch the entire number. But the Magic Chimera in kart number 11 having a storming drive on his. I do hope you get to watch the track walk at some point on the stream, because it was a fantastic track walk, and he said he loves this track. He is a privateer driver, first year senior, and he is doing a superb job, an absolutely superb job at the moment. Fair play. The 303 squadron, that's the Polish collective for the drivers that all represent Poland. There he is in 3rd place. Can he hang on? He's ahead of Kai Hunter. He's ahead of Oliver Hodgson. So he's ahead of the British Open champion and a former Rotax World champion. There's Magic. It is Magic, and he's closing on Reese and Morgan.
Well, there you have it. So these guys battling away through. 8 minutes left on the clock. I can see the comments coming in. Where's Caden? Now, this is groups A and B. So Caden is C. So yeah, he's had his 2 races.
This is only 2/3 of the senior drivers.
Yes.
And Reese Hunter and Morgan Porter now turn the clock back 1 week in Portugal. Weather was very similar. Porter and Reese Hunter, they had a somewhat rambunctious battle for the race lead in the senior final. Yes, it was a superb race. And shall we say that Reese Hunter came up 2nd best, and he will not want that to happen here.
No, I don't.
But there's more on the line for Morgan Porter here.
Yeah.
Championship leader, trying to just maintain that championship lead and keep all his rivals behind him. As I say that, though, side by side, Reese Hunter doesn't fight it, but Magic Chimera coming like a freight train in kart number 11.
Yeah.
Can he just close up? If these two battle, can Magic... oh my word, Reese Hunter, that was almost disastrous. There's Magic. Plain white crash helmet. He's got the 303 squadron on the back of his thing, named after the 303 RAF 303 squadron, which was where all the Polish pilots fought in the Second World War. They flew Hurricanes. More Luftwaffe planes down than any other squadron in the entire RAF. And they are very proud to represent the 303 squadron. Not just Magic, but a lot of the other drivers with Polish ancestry racing currently in the UK. Magic is going to have to deal with Kai Hunter very shortly. There's Oliver Hodgson. Tom Adams is 6th. Jensen Watts 7th. Matt Armstrong's 4th to 9th. Lewis Malin already up into the top 10. I'm looking to see where Tom Edmonds is. The answer is he is 19th. This is not going well for Tom Edmonds. So, Magic, you've been caught by Kai Hunter. I would say your best bet is to let Kai go and then just follow Kai Hunter up to the leaders. Don't fight this yet. Have a little look to see where there he is. You look there. Oh, he's just had his nose cone clipped as he went past. Hope that hasn't dislodged his nose cone, but it has lost him a little bit of time there. So now just try and settle down, and just follow the Kai Hunter up to the front, okay? You've got a great start. You're on course for a top 5 finish here. Don't look over your shoulder again, because you've got a former world champion closing, former Grand Finals champion closing in on you.
Yes.
Like you can see the cartoon eyes going wah, wah, out of his head.
Yeah, no, looking behind you is definitely not the one thing you want to do when you're racing, because that's usually where you end up. Keep your eyes forward and focus on what's going on ahead. 6 minutes to go then on the timer. Morgan Porter still leading the way from Reese Hunter. Kai Hunter still in 3rd place. Magic Mera in 4th place, as you say. Oliver Hodgson, the 35, closing in just behind, though, as the rest of the field filters through.
Everybody on the middle of the track.
Everyone in the middle.
The racing line is still a bit damp and slippery. The inside line is a bit damp and slippery. They're all on wet tyres. I went to check out on the grid while the ads were playing just to see if there was anybody who was going to gamble. The answer was a no. Now Magic is going to defend from Oliver Hodgson. Oliver Hodgson's thinking to himself, I'm new to the class, and I know most of these drivers. I'm not. Who's number 11? Well, you know him now. And so Magic has just got to keep his cool. This is now a real just test of not just the speed of his cars and his driving. It's more a test of his composure. You know, you're in exalted company here, Magic. And you get Jensen Watts is next in 6th position. This is 4th, 5th and 6th on your screen. Half distance. Morgan Porter leads Reese Hunter by 6/10 of a second. And then a 3-second gap back to Kai Hunter in 3rd. And then this battle going on 5 seconds behind the race leader. 4th, 5th and 6th, and Hodgson just waiting, and he waits no longer, sends him at the inside. They both run a bit wide, and Jensen Watts says, oh, thank you very much, and picks up 4th place. Hodgson 5th, Hemera 6th, and there's number 17 of Tom Adam for Coles Racing in 7th place.
Yep, so a nice little scrap there for these drivers. A technical warning flag did just go out
Henry
to the
Gibson.
number 92. Yeah, Harry Gibson, I should say.
Harry Gibson, also.
Privateer, 23rd place at the moment.
Oh.
So yes, that's a disaster. And back at the front here, another little switcheroo.
And that's Adams passing Hemera. Hodgson. Well, yeah, I mean, Magic's not going to just lay over a roll over for Hodgson.
No.
He's giving Hodgson, you know, I mean, again, and speaking to Magic yesterday, he's a real student of the game. He loves his history, loves learning about the drive of the championship. He doesn't just watch what he does. You know, he's really into the bigger, wider motorsport picture and the karting picture. So he's probably thinking, I've watched Hodgson race for years. I know all about him. Hodgson's raced in the World Championships. He's raced in the Grand Final. He's raced in the IARMY Grand Finals. He's represented Team UK. He's a multiple British kart champion, British kart Grand Prix winner, and I'm racing with him, so he's going to have a good time. Hodgson's probably thinking, come on, let me go. And Lewis Malin closing in kart number 6 with Armstrong in the number 24 kart running in 9th place. Then it's Steadman, Meadows, Matthews, Clinton, Pullen, Casely, Stansbury, Edmonds still only 17th. Is 2nd place in the championship slipping out of Tom Edmonds' grasp?
It really looks like it could be 3.5 minutes then. Reese Hunter, new fastest lap of the race.
Lead change, he's passed Morgan Porter. He's got back past ahead of Porter and put in a very quick lap, 53.51. That is 6 seconds quicker than what they were doing in the first heat race. Same tyres, drier track.
Yep. That's what you want to see, really, isn't it? So it's just playing dividends for these guys, really, isn't it? With these wet tyres, wet conditions, dry lines forming all over the track, and it's really all you got to think about is what's the weather going to be like tomorrow.
Hopefully dry.
Hopefully dry.
I've got a feeling it's going to be cold.
Yeah.
I think safely say that.
Safely say it's going to be cold.
A bit fresh.
Brisk. And we're starting much earlier tomorrow, aren't we?
Are we?
Yes. We're live at 20 to 10, I believe.
We'll see. Reese Hunter continues to lead. Porter 2nd. Then it's Kai Hunter in 3rd. Jensen Watts 4th. Then Adams is 5th. And this battle on screen 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. The 11 of Hemera. The 35 of Hodgson. The 6 of Malin. And the 24 of Armstrong. 4 karts. Now Hodgson's got a good run. He's going to have a little look up the inside going into Ashby's, I think. Does he? No, you've got the mud all over Hemera's kart there. And the mud over Hodgson's kart up towards Wilkins on lap number 9. Oh, and Hodgson gets it wrong coming out of Wilkins, bouncing over the grass there. He's lost a place to Lewis Malin, and that gives Magic a little bit of breathing room.
Yep, so that just shows the sort of pressure that these drivers are under. You know, any slight little offline excursion, and there's some big divots on the edge of this circuit as well as big curves. You can see there the 35 of Hodgson just clouting that massive curve on the
Armstrong
inside.
Going around the outside off track there to pass Hodgson. Hodgson's got no pace in that kart at the moment. That Mark Litchfield racing car, and Hodgson, that's something you never see. You never see Oliver Hodgson looking over his shoulder, but he's looking over his shoulder because he's realised that something has gone wrong with that kart. The setup's gone gone away, the tyres have gone away, and he's not thinking about what's in front of him. He's worried about how many more places he's going to lose.
Yeah.
And there's the 24 of Armstrong. And again, already Hodgson's got no response, none whatsoever. The main question now, with the gaps opening up, a minute to go, Reese Hunter leads by 2 seconds from Porter. There is Armstrong, can these two drivers, the 24 of Armstrong and the 6 of Malin, can they catch Magic Camara, having the race of his life so far?
Well, I'll have a look at the data and I'll have a look at the times. Magic Camara at the moment, his previous lap was his personal best, 54.1. The guys behind, 55s, 54s. So they are on pace, but they're not catching.
Yeah, not catching him. But I tell you who is catching Oliver Hodgson now is his namesake, Oliver Meadows. In fact, look at Magic closing in on former double E-plate champion as a junior, Tom Adams. And Adam Magic there over the curbs. I mean, all that stuff he was saying about how he couldn't afford to take curbs, he's privateer and all that.
Complete rubbish.
You show a driver a top 5 finish, and they will launch that wagon any which way they possibly can if it works. And Magic is. Do you know what? We've come this far. I'm not even going to say one thing about maybe can Magic pull a rabbit out of his hat in the last race. I've come this far.
Well, you just have.
Oh, did I? Never mind. Clock strikes 0. Last lap next time around for the race leaders. Hunter by 2 seconds from Porter. Kai Hunter 4 seconds down in third. Then it's Jensen Watts. And then this battle for 5th between Adams and Hamera. They're not going to be caught by Armstrong, Malin, who runs 7th and 8th, or Hodgson in 9th, who's got Meadows behind him in 10th. But can Magic Camara wrestle a top 5 finish away from Adams?
Well, let's see what he can do as they go through. Rest of the field slotting in just behind. So this is the group that is just behind those two who are scrapping away. The number 6, you can see, of Malin and Oliver Hodgson just behind. And Oliver Meadows as well closing in on that battle, but absolutely no time between them. Last lap forward coming out at this time for Reese Hunter, who now crosses the line, which just shows you the fact that these guys aren't even going into the boot yet. Just shows the advantage that Reese Hunter has got. Well, that is going to come up on your screen shortly, ladies and gentlemen. Reese Hunter's best lap time of the race. He has just absolutely blown the rest of the field out of the water. 52.06. That's 0.8 of a second faster than anybody else in this race. Brilliant from driver number 5, Reese Hunter. Adams checks over his shoulder. Hamera, you can see, you can almost see the whites of his eyes there. Hamera, his eyes are locked like a great white shark, focused on the prey that is about to be. Is it going to be an early dinner for Magic Hamera on Tom Adams? I think, though, Adams has done just about enough. Yeah, that gap is closing, and it looks like it's been closing throughout the entirety of the race, but not enough. So Reese Hunter crosses the line, takes the checkered flag from Morgan Porter, who ended up 3 seconds further down the road. Kai Hunter, his brother, crosses the line in third place in the O plate. Now Jensen Watt and Tom Adams, they're going to be crossing the line just next, and Magic Camara just can't quite close that gap. Crosses the line 6th place, with Matt Armstrong coming in 7th.
And just behind it, there's somebody off. That is possibly on the last lap. That's
41.
Josh Pullen, who I think is going to. We lost Ben Burgess in that race. We also lost Harry Gibson, and Hodgson on the last lap hasn't come round either. Now I thought I did see Hodgson go across the.
He did, yes.
He did, yeah, but he was struggling. He got passed by Oliver Meadows there on the last lap. So Hodgson down to 10th. Had a Teddy Clinton and Jack Steadman. Oliver Meadows, again, can't speak highly enough about that young man so far this weekend. It's been a tough season for Oliver, and he has now got 2 top 10 finishes in his 2 heat races. Here's the lower order, and there, 17th place, Tom Edmonds. Now, I don't think Edmonds is going to be in the top 10, maybe in the top 12 at the end of the heats in the overall rankings. That is going to cost him points. It's going to bring Nelson King, Kai Hunter, and Reese Hunter all into contention. Don't forget, in seniors, there are 3 tickets to the grand finals available. Morgan Porter's already won his ticket.
Yep.
He won his ticket last weekend in Portugal. So though the 3 tickets will go to 2nd, 3rd and 4th place in the championship. Dan Holland Racing trying to put 3 drivers in at the expense of Edmonds. And, well, your oof was that. I mean, that as somebody who works behind the camera as well, Anthony, that shot there, extremely hard. The sun begins to set on today's action, but the weekend is only half over. Here is a quick look at what we have got lined up for you tomorrow and when.
Indeed. So you thought today's racing was exciting. Of course, tomorrow it's the finals, it's the pre-finals. That's where it gets exciting. And
Today was a mere aperitif.
Yeah, it was just a mere amuse-bouche. You can see Rotax 177 Heat 2 is going to be starting the day off at 10 to 10. So there you go, much earlier start than what we had today. Then we go to the senior Rotax, their pre-final. That's going to be at 10 past 10. Minimax, their pre-final at 10:30. Junior Rotax for their pre-final at 10 to 11. And Honda Cadet pre-final at 10 past 11. And then from there, we head over to the Rotax 177, the final pre-final that we have for that at 11:30. Then it's my favourite time of the day, lunchtime.
The lunch break, but we've got plenty of content for you. We've got the track walk on the lunch break. It's really worth seeing. You know, it's great to see these drivers get into personality. And Magic Amira did a fantastic job. All the drivers have on the track walk this year. But then at the end of the lunch break, now we're into the main course. The entree.
Yes, definitely so. The bit that we like to see the most. If you thought PFI was exciting, if you were watching us, you've seen nothing yet.
Yep.
So senior Rotax, they're going to be the first final to take to the track, and they're going to be kicking off at around 12:15 tomorrow. So make sure you tune in for that. The Minimax final next after that at 1:45 in the afternoon, and then it's Junior Rotax for their final at 1:15 themselves. And the last couple of races that you'll see out there, Honda Cadet final at 1:45, and then the final race of the weekend and the final race of the 2020 season will be the Rotax 177 final at 2:15. So please make sure you do not miss that.
Thank you very much for joining us today, ladies and gentlemen, both here at the circuit and on the live stream. As you watch the sunset on the first half of the weekend, you have been watching an Alpha Live presentation of the Motorsport UK 2020 British Kart Championships, sponsored by Demon Tweeks at Whilton Mill. We will see you bright and early tomorrow morning.